The thing I find funny about relationships
Why
is,
not?
I could have put it, they think their friends should be more loyal to them than their partners at times.
Oh, yeah. And I think this is what they think.
Yeah, and I think that she's...
I think that's why she's been criticised.
You know my man's a cheater. You should be more loyal to me than my man, because you know my man is trash already.
You should wear more clothes around him.
That's
the same attitude that you're going to have.
That's what she's saying. Basically...
That's the thing. She's not actually tackling the issue that caused the behaviour to begin with. She's just tackling the consequence of the behaviour. So the consequence is that he tried to kiss. And that's the thing. He tried to kiss Jordyn. She was going home. She was saying, bye, I'm going home now.
Yeah, but she was also sitting on putting her legs on him, man. She was flirting with man. Hold on. She admitted it herself.
She straddled him.
She didn't straddle him.
Did she straddle?
Wow, you don't really take it and
Did she
make
have
it what you
chaps
want
on?
it to.
Did she have a cowboy hat on?
No, she didn't.
She was doing reverse cowboy.
Let's do it. Ride it.
So my chest. I'm about to believe that she was yeehawing on his lap.
Both of them are got to take blame for this.
Nobody's disputing that both of them are not going to take blame, but she knows that that's friend's man's whatever, yeah. And you was going to the party. You're sitting on. She said she was sitting on the edge of the chair with her legs over his legs.
No.
Why is her legs touching his leg?
No,
I agree.
You can't do that.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, rodents and other small insects, welcome to another episode of the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast at ESN. Podcast on all your social medias and use the hashtag ESN pod to join in the conversation online. If you want to send in any questions, comments, or especially audio notes with anything on there, please send that to esnpodcast@gmail.com. We will receive it, we will upload it, and we will discuss it. All right. I am Stavros Boss. Thank you all for tuning in. And in the room with me tonight, I have...
What episode is it?
Episode 114. I have...
Of season 2.
Of season 2.
Wow.
All right. I have Big Wahala.
What's good? Hashtag, yes. Hashtag Big Wahala. What's my thing again? At Big Wahala, that's it.
M&M's in his mouth.
I also have Mr. Wolf.
An unripe orange will most assuredly become ripe eventually. Is that right?
No, because what if somebody eats it first?
Yeah, true. Keep hope alive. The best is yet to come, always. You're about Proverbial Sky and Mr. Wolf in the building. You can catch me on Instagram, aka Mr. Wolf. Twitter, aka _Mr. Wolf. Word is bound.
We also have Simple Simon.
I envy you. Because you do not have the eternal loneliness that I am bereft with. I go home of an evening and loneliness fills my house. But you, sir, do not have this, and I envy you. That was a small excerpt from a poem by an artist called Nanko. The original inscription is called Lucky You, and it goes a little something like this.
Lucky you, you've got a woman to go home to. I've got to find me myself a woman. What I wouldn't do, man. Lucky you, you've got some kids to attend to. I've got to find me myself a woman.
What I wouldn't do, man.
Gaza.
I love that song.
At Simple Simon FB on Twitter. Get at me. I don't have Instagrams. So that's a shout out to all the men that actually don't hate their women. Because none of them do.
I want to find
What, they hate their women?
Enough men, well, let me not say they hate it. They don't like their women.
That one, you know what, it's for JJ Boller still, because he sent out a little tweet in the middle of the week saying, I need some sad songs about...
He's still looking for love.
About what?
Listen, don't listen to JJ Boller, yeah?
Okay.
He can get any woman he wants, man.
Big up JJ, but don't listen to him because he's
Except
tall.
for a Christian woman.
He's tall and he's a poet. He gets girls, man.
All right. That sultry voice that you heard just a moment ago is from our wonderful guest, Kourtney L.
I'm here. Do you know what? I feel really awkward now because I don't have anything snazzy to say to introduce myself.
You don't need it. Just give us your socials and tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Okay, so the socials. Do you know what? Actually, we can talk about the socials because someone's blocking my name on Twitter. Could you imagine? So I can't be uniform. It's mad. So if you're on Instagram, it's @_Kourtney L. If you're on Twitter, it's @_Kourtney LL. So there's just a double L. That is difference. I am your host and presenter extraordinaire.
She's beefing with Stab already, man.
I'm a.
But we're all hosts. No, go on.
I'm your favourite healthcare and scientist enthusiast, I'll say. And I'm an all-round funny youth. And I'm ready for war, so if you want at me.
Why does everybody want me on this podcast?
Because you have to let them know from the beginning. Otherwise, you become a victim, you know?
Wow.
You become a yes man on the
You
socials.
sound like what's that girl's name? What's that Kardashian one that they say is the victim?
We want to talk about her.
Nah, I don't, but they call her the victim.
I was going to say, because I got smoked for that.
Wow.
You know. We were going to talk about vaccines. We'll get to that. But because nobody probably cares about this Kourtney thing apart from you, I want you to unleash the smoke and then we can get out of the way because I'm sure.
On Khloé?
Yeah, whatever. This topic about the cheating and what's it? Tristan?
Trashton.
Trashton.
Wow.
Tristan Thompson.
Speak on it.
Plays for Cleveland, innit?
Hold on. Seeing as you're the host.
I don't know if he plays, but
Where's you host and present?
he might be signed.
Yeah.
Where do I host and present? That's a good.
I called him a bench player.
I don't think they're ready. He is a bench player. I didn't call him.
Oh, wow.
He is. A spade, right?
Right.
I haven't seen Tristan in a Court in a minute. Anyway, I digress. I host a breakfast show on Ontop FM every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 a.m. and I wake you up the right way and get you going on your weekend.
That just sounds like wife. She was looking somewhere else when she said that. She didn't say that to me. No woman should be waking me up the right way. Especially every week. I'll wake you up the right way and send you happy along your way.
Oh my God.
I don't want wifeys in my mentions. It's not like that.
Wow.
But yeah, do you know what? It's just
I'm
like
coming to you as a
music.
woman.
Ooh. Damn.
Why would you go to the woman though? Like, I don't get it.
What are you about?
If your man's cheating with a next woman, why are you going to the woman for? Why do you go to your man?
Can one of you do the intro? I want the host extraordinaire to do actually. Seeing as you're the host.
Do you want me to do the intro?
Yeah, tell us what this thing is about and then tell us your smoke.
Okay, so long story short, Khloé Kardashian has been seeing Tristan Thompson, Thomas, whatever his surname is, for a while now. She met him when his first mother of his child was 6 months pregnant.
Damn.
And that's when they got together. He then refused to acknowledge his son from that relationship, basically.
Damn.
And obviously shacked up with Khloé, who then consequently fell pregnant. Long story short, a few weekends ago, I think it said Valentine's weekend, Jordyn Woods, who is Kylie Jenner's best friend, was out and...
Who's Khloé's sister?
Khloé's sister. Kylie Jenner is Khloé's sister. Yeah.
So
they were out or whatever. So Jordyn was out with her friends. Kylie was not there. And basically after the club, they went to an after party at a house. She found that it was Tristan's house. So he had all these other women in the house. Long story short, when she got up to leave, he tried to kiss her. And
they got it on video?
They didn't get it on video. So there was people who were at the house who then leaked the story to the press, basically. But because she hadn't said anything in the beginning, when she was asked, it was like, oh my gosh, she was trying to deceive us. But mum and dad, Will and Jada, have stepped in and interjected to make sure that she is not crucified like a bad person. And she was able to tell her side of the story on Red Table Talk.
So what's
with
the smoke?
Jada Pinkett Smith. The smoke is that Khloé is a very sick individual.
Wow.
Why?
That's the smoke. So basically, Khloé took to Twitter to go at Jordyn to say that she was dishonest.
She should, man.
She's a liar. Absolutely. But then she went on to say, I know that Tristan's wrong in this situation, but he's doing A, B, C, D, E. So basically, Jordyn was catching all the smoke. They backed her into a corner. So she had endorsement deals with Kylie's lip kit. They dropped the lip kit to half price, basically, and discontinued it. She had an advertising...
Mafia business right there.
Trust me.
We're right for the
Trust
pocket.
me, yeah. That isn't all. She was part of a Good American, which is Khloé's denim brand. They removed her from all images on the website, and the jeans which she modelled were removed as well. So she's not getting money off of that. She had an eyelash event because she just launched a range with Eyelaw, an eyelash company. she had 150 people on her guest list, 20 people turned up. So they basically kind of tried to blacklist her from Hollywood.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Good. And the reason why I say good is because she's relying too much on another family to be able to eat.
I hear you, but can I put this into context?
Yeah, go on.
This is not the first time that Tristan Thompson has been pictured out with
we
a
know
female.
him and the strippers.
So, Khloé, you knew what you were laying down with. You can't. I understand to an extent. I've spoken about this in length on my Instagram. So if you don't want to know what I think about it, go on my Instagram. But you can't just make it look like it's just Jordyn, man. Like if Tristan's done, he's a repeat offender. He's got a problem, right?
Yes.
You can't take to social media and be like Jordyn.
She said she was getting death threats, innit?
Check your so that's the mad thing. So on the Red Table Talk, she said that she had received death threats. Her sister couldn't go to school, her brother couldn't go to work, her mum couldn't go to work because people were threatening to harm her family, and that's why she stepped up to speak about on the Red Table Talk. She did also as well take full accountability and said that she shouldn't have found herself at that house as soon as she knew it was his house. She should have just said no, and she also said that she should have spoken about his attempt to kiss her sooner rather than later. So she did take responsibility. But yeah, man, I just feel like they tried to crucify her. It's not happening.
Just to give a reason as to why she's actually on the Red Table Talk is because she's the daughter of somebody that was like a producer or something on The Fresh Prince.
Yeah. So her dad was the sound producer on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from when it started until it came off air.
So that's how they know her, basically.
They've been very close with Will Smith growing up. I think she was like really good friends with Jaden, their son, when they were growing up.
The thing that's messed up about this for me, is that they are, like you said, able to just end her career effectively, or at least give a good effort to try and do so. But I don't see why she's targeted in particular, if that makes sense.
So that's the thing.
I do.
But she shouldn't catch all the smoke.
Maybe not all the smoke.
He's not catching any smoke
You
at
don't
all.
know what's going on at home.
But
that's what they said. No, but so Khloé took to Twitter to kind of half defend him, half she was like, "Oh,
That's still her husband, isn't it?
he's apologized." They're not even married. That's her ex-boyfriend.
oh, they're not married.
So she
I
was
thought
like,
they got married.
No, so she's taking.
He just my baby daddy.
Oh, damn.
Guys,
They never
that
got
baby
married
daddy.
at all.
It's not nice.
Oh, but
What the term?
Then
That's
get married, innit?
Father of
Then get the
child
yeah,
and
I don't-
mother
yeah.
of child.
I agree with that.
This people
Waste man.
that hurts.
He's taking care of the child, isn't he?
Hurts. Oh yeah, your baby dad, like your baby mum. It's not nice.
It's not nice.
I just call him a waste
Then
man.
get married.
Phew, child.
No, he's a waste man, that one, then. It has to be.
He
The man-
is,
the-
of course.
Hold on.
Does he not take care of his baby?
Yeah, the first
So
one
the
and the
first
second
one
one.
isn't acknowledged really,
Full
as
stop.
far as we know.
Okay, well then that's waste.
Always
That's
waste.
waste stuff.
The second one obviously has been doing Happy Families, isn't it?
Well, has he?
With,
Because when she was,
Kind of,
when
with
she was
Khloé.
giving birth, what, he banging 2 strippers?
ooh, child.
This
That's
is all
what- that's what they- I thought
Kardashian
I was
business we're
coming to
talking
snatch
about.
babies.
here now.
He snatched
Some
mine.
people smoke cigars. Some people will bang when they're having children. You know, why not? It's a celebration, bitches.
As it was in Cuba.
The reality is though.
Man's looking for
the,
twins out here.
the reality is though.
Smoking
There's,
cigars.
there's a particular reason why they've outed this woman in particular.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what that
No,
reason
they're out
is.
all of them.
Absolutely.
But the other ones, they don't care because they're strippers. But you have to think of it like this, yeah? Me and Stav was talking about this now, right? It is literally like, right, you,
Yeah.
doing something with Stav's wife.
I don't know why he chose my wife.
Because I'm the younger brother and Kylie's the sister, innit? So, and you're my bona fide brethren.
Yeah.
Kissing his wife, right? Stav's got every right to say, nah, cutting you off, mate. And I've got every right to say, nah, bruv, that's wrong, cutting you off. And if I'm making you eat, I'm taking away all your food. You're not on the podcast no more, you're gone. You can't come back here again.
Because in that case, I see it.
You can't come back here again.
My sibling's brethren did something with my partner. Lock off.
Not even just your brethren, you're bona fide to the point where she's bringing food to your table.
Lock off.
So then what happens?
Everything get locked off.
What happens to your partner?
That's what you lot to deal with.
But yeah, I deal with my partner at home, innit? Personally, I wouldn't take it to social media, irrespective,
right.
Either which way. But if I wanted to send smoke your direction, then I'll send smoke your direction. I'm not going to send smoke.
No, but you
at
can't.
home
You can't start smoking one party and not the other.
Yes, you can. You can.
The thing about the thing I find funny about relationships
Why
is
not?
people actually try to
because it's a relationship.
people actually more how can I put it? They think their friends should be more loyal to them than their partners at times.
Oh yeah, and I think this is what they think.
Yeah, and I think that she's.
I think that's why she's been
You know
crucified.
you know my man's a cheater. You should be more loyal to me than my man because you know my man is trash already.
You should wear more clothes around him.
That's
the
saying.
same attitude that you're going to have.
That's what she's saying.
It's
So basically,
that's the thing. She's not actually tackling the issue that caused the behavior to begin with. She's just tackling the consequence of the behavior. So the consequence is that he tried to kiss. And that's the thing. He tried to kiss Jordyn. She was going home. She was saying, bye, I'm going home now.
yeah, but she was also sitting on putting her legs on him, man. She was flirting with man.
Hold on.
She admitted it herself.
She straddled him.
She didn't straddle him.
Did she straddle?
Wow,
Did she-
you don't really take it and
Did
make
she have
it what you
chaps
want
on?
it to.
Did she have a cowboy hat on?
No, she
Doing reverse cowgirl.
Let's do it. Riding
So,
my chest.
I'm about to believe that she was
No,
yeehawing on his lap.
Both of them are got to take blame for this. man.
Nobody's disputing that both of them are not going to take blame, but she knows that that's friend's man's whatever, yeah. And you was going to the party. You're sitting on. She said she was sitting on the edge of the chair with her legs over his legs.
Nah.
Why is her legs touching his leg?
Nah,
I
you
agree.
can't do that.
Yeah, she was
I
flirting
agree.
with man,
And she said
she was dancing with him.
She said that that might be interpreted as.
So the heat has
But
got
I'm
to come
with
both
Wolf on this
sides.
one. I feel like the heat's on both sides. You
Yeah, but
can't
come
just
on both
smoke
sides.
one.
Okay, all right. So let me roll.
Smoke them both out, man.
No, but let me roll this back. Yeah, if just by the description of what you're saying, Khloé and them know the game, innit? Like they've been playing. Those are their moves, their rules. You get what I'm saying? To you?
They've been stealing
What's the
man
game?
from days.
What's the game? Man?
Oh, I can run you through the history if you want the
Go on,
history.
roll.
I can run through the
Let's
history.
look for the stealing.
I'm so
Let's
glad
look
you're here
for
this
the-
They're
week.
kind of like this. All of them.
Hold on. Before we continue, before you run through the history, I just want to know that on our catalogue of topics, this wasn't on it.
No, it wasn't.
We had no intention of talking about this because none of us care. But Kourtney's bringing the good smoke.
yeah,
bring
good
the
smoke.
smoke.
I like the good
You're
smoke.
actually making it interesting for me.
So we have to remember that the Kardashian women have a history of taking men from other women, right?
Yes. Can you really
Right?
take a man if he doesn't want to be taken?
Shaking of neck. Man
Listen,
shook his neck.
If that's going to improve your status,
you.
Go on.
people are going to go. So we can't forget that Amber Rose and Kanye West weren't actually broken up when Kim got with Kanye.
Gaza.
They were at the end of their relationship,
Gaza.
but they weren't actually officially broken up.
But you have to take 30
Khloé
showers.
was
So, don't worry. Sorry.
Yeah, you had to take 30 showers. Anyway, keep going.
child. You also have to remember that Kylie Jenner was best friends with was going out with Tyga, whose former partner was Blac Chyna, who was best friends with Kim.
There you go.
As soon as Kylie got with Tyga, Blac Chyna was crucified in front of the media, made out to look like a bad person.
Gaza.
I'm confused. So was Blac Chyna going out with Tiger?
Blac Chyna and Kim Kardashian were best friends. At the time, Blac Chyna was going out with Tyga.
Okay, but
Kylie Jenner got with Tyga, and Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians basically crucified her in the media.
Yeah, but then she went with the brother
Yeah.
and then got his baby.
Petty LaBelle, baby.
She did one move with the brother, bro. She did one. She banged the brother, you hit the brother, and then went and had some guy wearing what's he wearing? What's that thing that they wear? You go to bed. That thing that they wear when you walk around the house.
The robe.
The robe. Yeah. Do you remember the robe incident?
No.
When the man was wearing his robe and he's taking pictures of him wearing his robe. in the man's house.
We remember that.
You just have to charge it to the game at that point.
Oh, wow.
Keep the catalogue going.
Just charge it to the game.
All right, charging.
We have to remember
Amex
that
and all
Khloé Kardashian was in cahoots with French Montana at a time when French Montana and Trina hadn't broken up.
Gaza.
Khloé Kardashian's best friend, Malika Hawk, was seeing chinks. She was his secret girlfriend, so much so that she could not go to his funeral because his wife banned her from the funeral
Gaza.
because that was deciding.
Gaza.
Larsa Pippen, who was taken to social media to defend the entire Kardashian family, was sleeping with Future and then made her husband Scotty beg her back.
No, Scottie Pippen is a waste man.
He's
Scottie Pippen is a waste.
No,
We're
that's-
talking about
Man.
Scottie Pippen. here.
Yeah.
From the time that Jordan made him a waste man, he continued his waste.
Yeah.
He just continued
Yeah.
his waste.
Keep going.
So I think like their track record, that's the track record. So someone even took to Twitter to say, why is everyone so mad at Jordan? She's done what she's learned off of them.
Okay, that's
They've been taking people's men for literally years.
That's what I said.
There's only one Kardashian
Years
that
and years
hasn't
and
done
years.
it, innit? That's the other one, innit?
Who?
Who's
The boring one.
The one that's the model one.
Courtney is the mum of three. She doesn't really get involved. I think it's the namesake, we don't like Asa. Just to throw that out there.
I don't know about
and
her, but I
obviously
like her.
Kendall doesn't really get involved.
Are you
She's like,
Kourtney with a K as well?
I'm Courtney for K, yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian's the
Special
oldest
like
one.
that.
That one
She
there
is.
doesn't
She
three
don't,
Ks,
she don't
boy.
really care like
But
things
does she
like
have a black
that.
man as well now?
No, she's single now. She was going out with a model or something who was half her age at one point in
Was
time.
he black?
No.
So she's the only one that hasn't touched black men.
Yes.
So are you saying that it's the black man is the poison then?
No, I'm saying they poison black men.
Wow. No, but the poisonous
But
ones
it's
are the ones that are with black men.
They were normal. All of them were normal. And then they met a Kardashian and they was now all mad.
Yep.
Kanye.
The only one that hasn't turned mad at the moment is Travis Scott, but he's not dealing with a Kardashian. He's dealing with a Jenner.
Which is a slower burn.
Yeah,
No, I don't know. That one's got $1 billion, man. I think what's her name's quite happy with that.
$1 billion.
Oh, she's gonna be.
I don't know. I just feel like their whole thing is once you're like an op, you're an op, even if you've done nothing wrong per se. So they had a stylist, Monica Rose, who's styled Kim from like the jump. Like she is the one who kind of put Kim Kardashian on the fashion map.
Yeah.
Tutus now, they're not working with her anymore. Tutus now, no one's working with her anymore. Khloé's in directing, subdirecting, telling people that she stole from them.
Maybe she did.
Maybe she did.
Yeah.
Maybe she did, yeah.
So,
but why do you need to crucify her? Take her to court. If she really stole from you, take her to court.
Well, they know the court on
Take
social
her to
media.
court.
Remember the dad's
They know the court. They know the court. Remember Khloé Kardashian stole a black designer's designs, right?
Yeah.
And then when the black designer called her out on social media, she said to her, I will take you to court and sue you for defamation of character because I've not stolen your designs. Even though she had ordered her stock and then released stock that looked exactly the same as it. So they're very familiar with the court system and they know that they've got the money to do it. So really, if she stole from you, take her to court.
Their daddy was the court man.
I really acknowledge
He really was.
her daddy's meant to be OJ.
Do you know what this?
Oh, goddamn!
You know what this is?
I believe that though.
This is, you know, like
She's a bit bigger than the rest, isn't it?
you know, like secret societies and organized crime groups have to evolve over time. This is the new mafia. These lot is the new mafia.
Listen,
because they
Using
got on
social
Smash.
media.
Caitlyn Jenner
All
is
over
a
the place.
G. As much as anybody wants to cuss or whatever, Caitlyn Jenner knows how to pimp her children properly. She gives them the proper pimp hand when they start to.
Chris,
when
not Caitlyn.
Whichever one is the. Oh, Caitlyn's the man, isn't it?
Caitlyn's the dad.
Okay, well,
Who
Kris
is
Jenner
now
then.
obviously a female.
The one that she'll give her back. She gives them a backhand, like a proper pimp.
I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they get out of line, she's backhanding them to say, "You better go back on there and strut your stuff and make us."
Kris Jenner does not fumble a bag.
Yeah, she don't. The money is there always.
She does not fumble a bag. Even so, obviously everyone saw that the backlash that Khloé was getting on social media, like big names started calling her out, saying, "What are you talking about? You're blaming Jordyn like Tristan isn't to blame." Saturday morning, new statement, new tweet.
Apologies.
Retracted everything that you said the day before. Obviously, I know Tristan is to blame. He's absolutely wrong. You weren't saying that 24 hours ago, my G.
Trust me, man.
But obviously, they saw that the narrative wasn't going to play out the way that they would have expected it to play out. So now they have to put in the damage control,
of course,
to make sure that they don't start losing people as their
telling
supporters.
you,
That woman don't fumble a bag. People can say what they like about Kris Jenner. She's been climbing social ladders from day. And she's very smart. She knows how to make a bag, take it, flip it, tumble it, whatever she needs to do with it to keep herself rich.
I sleep with OJ. But one other thing, because in the end, it's like a beef between the Smiths and them, innit? That's what we could have ended up being. So she had to pick out a battle because I don't think they can beat the Smiths,
Nah.
I don't think they're ready for the Smiths. Nah. I think the Smiths now getting involved, it made a big tilt to the other girls.
Absolutely.
Like,
I think
What do you mean, man?
And they not ready for the Smiths?
What's Jaden and
Of course they're ready for the Smiths.
Whip my hair
The
gonna
thing
do?
is-
They're gonna get me. Yeah,
I'm talking about Will and Jada.
That's two. We're talking about whole families.
No, I'm talking about Will and Jada are the power couple. You don't go against Will and Jada.
True.
The only two people that could go against Will and Jada will be Jay and Beyonce.
It would never.
Yeah, because that's the foursome.
And Oprah is Optimus Prime. You can't
Oprah's
It's
on her
true.
own.
She's on her jacks, innit?
Stedman can't.
Hold on.
Stedman ain't
Oprah
got
could
no
be
backing.
Thanos. Oprah could be Thanos.
that's true.
Absolutely.
She could just click her
Absolutely.
fingers, you
Yeah,
know.
well, you said
But
that,
the thing
but
is,
Monique's still out here.
True.
Wowza.
Monique's still out here chatting.
But no one listens to
A
Monique, man.
word. Yeah, that's true.
Steve Harvey tried to.
Okay.
Anyway, that's another story for another
That's
day.
another story.
Yeah, Will's away when unfortunately when it happened.
That was a good story as well, man.
I don't care about
Well,
Monique
to be
anymore,
honest, I think after this, I realized it's not about the story. It's about how interested you are in the story and how.
yeah.
Because if we spoke about this without you here,
You would have been dead.
dead.
What happened? Dead. The girl did cheat on the man. Them. See. All right.
You know, because we don't know the story, man.
Next topic. And somebody on this side would be, I don't care about these.
Kardashians.
Care about these
The thing
Kardashian
is
Jenners.
That's what
we
I would
care
say.
more than we think we do.
I don't care about the KKK, man. Leave me out, bro.
You may not care about them, but you have to acknowledge that some things that they do impact us, especially in this kind of digital space.
Okay, fair
A
enough.
lot of things that they do impact how we work, right? So when Kim Kardashian came with Kimoji, that was the first celebrity to have emojis that look like her. Now you've got Bitmoji. Everybody's got a Bitmoji that looks like them. It influences culture in ways that they're such micro influences, you wouldn't even acknowledge them specifically.
You gotta respect me.
Are they the first influencers in the digital age, in the social media age?
I wouldn't say they were the first.
Nah, porn is the biggest influencer.
No. Social media.
I wouldn't say they were the first. I wouldn't say they were the first, but I would say they were because remember, like, before Kim Kardashian, there was Paris Hilton and them that were doing bits. And
But they weren't really on social media, though.
You weren't on social media.
Come on, bruv.
No, no, you wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
What's on social media?
No, you wasn't like, on their. You weren't on their social media.
I was on Facebook.
Yeah, but they came out during the kind of boom of Facebook, innit?
I think the issue with the Paris
nothing
Hiltons and the Nicole Richies, they had their own reality show before reality shows were a thing, right? So it was called The Simple
TV.
Life, and they used to travel around America in like a caravan and like live on like farms with people and whatever to kind of be humbled. The issue was there was no sensationalization behind them. It was just two rich girls who were born into money that were traveling around the country and living with people who didn't have as much money as them
And sucking dick on camera.
and doing that.
Who did that?
Paris Hilton was the original
Paris.
dick sucker on camera.
Yeah,
okay.
so her sex tape was released,
Yeah.
and that's
And
where
then-
she kind of fell from
How about
fame.
my girl from Baywatch?
Kim Kardashian.
How about my girl from Baywatch?
No, but she was on Baywatch. That's a thing. That's
Yeah.
different, innit? This girl was no one. She
No
just,
one, and she
just
became-
That's
yeah,
how
yeah,
she
yeah.
became famous because she
Yeah,
was somebody's
and that's what
famous
it is.
daughter. Because she's the guy that does 90210. That's his daughter, innit?
Who?
Isn't the guy that does 902? Who's
No,
her
Paris.
dad?
Paris is
Paris Hilton?
famous through the Hilton.
Oh,
Hotel.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So her parents.
No, who's
did
the
it.
one that's 90210's daughter? That's one of the other ones that's part of their thing.
And the other one's
But
Lionel Richie's
stepdad
Nicole
was
Richies, yeah.
Lionel Richie.
No, one of the girls in 90210 is one of the. Anyway, he's got something there. But she,
Some of our listeners
Paris
don't know
Hilton-
what 90210
Paris
is.
Hilton and Kim Kardashian were best friends.
Yes. So Kim Kardashian was Paris Hilton's stylist.
Yeah.
All right.
And then eventually, after
She
that,
took the blueprint, bro.
yeah, that's what they say she did. So
Yeah,
after
she
she
did.
did the sex tape, obviously this one sex tape popped up with Ray J, my boy Ray J. Always got love for Ray J.
I hit it.
I mean, he's a bit of a mad character, but that's a discussion for
I'm
another
gonna
day.
have love for Ray J because Ray J brought out an album that the first album and I'm always gonna love it. So I always got time for Ray J.
Was that his first album?
Yeah, and Ray J was in Moesha. I got time for Ray J.
Yeah.
But so then she stole the blueprint and it's made it better.
And he did hit
And
it.
Paris is vexed because no
I
one
think
cared
that's
about
what
Paris
it
Hilton
is.
no more.
I think at the point in time where Paris Hilton's sex tape kind of went viral, Kris Jenner was already sitting at home like, there's a way that you can make money out of this. So when it happened to Kim, she already knew how she was going to make her money out of it. She was like, right, we're going to sell it to a porn company. And you're going to do it, whether you like it or not. That's what you're going to do. And then off of that, you're going to get your own reality TV show. Shortly after Reggie Bush came into the picture, they had Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And then they realized how easily people were instantly, oh my gosh,
Influenced.
this girl, like she, you know, she kind of
The
was
mum sat
sensational.
at home and she said,
Absolutely.
"You daughters of mine, hoes, are going to sleep with these lot for free anyway. We might as well make some money."
Yeah,
That's what it was.
absolutely.
Thoughts of mine, hoes.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Courtney, are you well versed on everything, or are you just a Jenner Kardashian expert?
No, do you know what it is? I'm kind of well versed in anything media because we at my workplace we have students and stuff, and I always want to be the person to inform them like that life isn't glitz and glam. The way that they got there was not savory whatsoever. They had to do things that were unsavory to get into that position.
That's it.
And I try and kind of show them how, yeah, you can make money from that stuff, but look at the other things that you have to deal with when you come from that stuff. So I keep in track like with everything. It's not just the Kardashian Jenners. I try and keep in track of kind of everything that's kind of going on with the younger generation, so that when my students come and talk to me, or I hear them saying stuff, I'm like, like that's not really like that. It's kind of more from like an education point of view.
That's good though.
And I've got twin
So you're
nieces,
an
right?
influencer
And if
as well?
they grow up, to an extent, yeah.
That's it.
Go on, if they grow up.
If I would never want my nieces to be in that position. I'd never want my nieces to think that they have to do that kind of stuff to
get
make
there.
money.
And a lot of young girls do.
And they do. That's why you see this whole like social media,
Influencers.
and you see young girls on social media dressed in a way that's not really appropriate for their age. But it's because they've come to know at a young age, which is a shame, that sex sells.
Yep.
So
Even
because they see
subconsciously,
that
yeah.
sex sells, they're like, do you know what? Yeah, they don't know that what they've actually understood is that sex sells. They just think, oh, okay, well, if I maybe show a bit more skin, I'll get more likes. Or if I make myself look a certain way, I'll get more likes. If I get like lip fillers, I'll get more likes, and so on and so forth. They don't know that actually sex sells, and that's the reason why you're getting more likes.
I blame Fashion Over.
Likes for currency. At some point, Stav, I want you
Fashion
to,
over there.
we discussed the savoury behaviour of women and such. You need to play that clip at some
Absolutely.
point.
Oh,
That's what
you're
I was
getting
to roll into. But anyway,
at. Okay.
well, let's go to what we were going to talk about before.
You,
Yeah,
all right, you're
let's.
talking about your students at your workplace.
Yes.
So could you tell us your work title outside of your social side?
Yes,
You have a 9 to 5.
I do.
With a wonderful, something that I could never do. Could you give me just the title?
Could, but yeah.
All right, thank you.
I am a healthcare scientist by profession.
All right, and before
Scientist,
she's a
yes,
scientist.
people, we are that clever. We can become scientists.
You can.
That don't mean
can.
that she can look at you and decide whether or not you got STD, because I know that's what man them are out there thinking.
Do you know what? People are actually nuts. Like, I have even some of my closest friends will send me their symptoms and ask me if they're dying. I'm like, bro,
What?
even if I knew, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like, you need to go doctor. That's not my job. So yeah, don't do that.
Okay, so
Healthcare scientist.
a few weeks ago, myself, Stavros, and Simple Simon. I'm going to include you in the conversation. You can back out if you want.
All right.
I think Mr. Wolf mentioned it as well. I think he mentioned if he was in a similar position, he would make a certain choice as well.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to give you the real. All right. So when we've just come back from Cuba, we was on his stag, right, a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
All right. I felt ill when I was there. I don't know if it was food poisoning or flu, but I was knocked out for a couple of days. When I came back, it seemed potentially, maybe, possibly, I passed on whatever, because I'm still coughing a little bit now, and I'm still feeling not 100%. But I may have passed on something to my wife and my daughter. Now, since I've been back,
Shame on you.
what can I say, man? So my missus has got a cold or something right now, but my daughter's, because she's so hard body, she kind of deals with everything. But you can see she's not 100%. She's got a bit of a fever and other symptoms. Yeah. So, but because it's going on for so long, me that's never really worried about her, because she's been ill and we've taken her to the doctor, but I've never worried about her. But this is the first time I'm worried about her, and included in this worrying thing, just because I was with my wife, we've gone to my mum and dad's house. I've left her there now, and my brother's picked me up, and we've come here. On that trip from my house to my mum and dad's house, I said, we might need to get her this jab, which she's 2.5 and she hasn't had it yet.
What jab is it?
This is the
MMR?
Measles,
the
Measles,
MMR.
mumps, and rubella.
All right. So we were talking about the vaccine thing. You brought it up, and because I know that's your field, I had it in the back of my mind. I wanted to discuss it with you potentially if you knew about it. And fortunately, when we started, you were, this is something I like to talk about, because you want to gun people like myself and maybe a couple of people next to me that have gone out of their way. And when I mean gone out of my way, I mean gone out of my way, because these doctors are harassing us that you must get these vaccines done. Every time we go there, do the vaccines. They're calling up. You want to do your vaccines now? They just call up my wife. Like, hi, vaccine time? Like, no. So we are going out of our way not to do it. Now, because of all these problems now, and I don't know if you guys know, in America, there's an outbreak of measles.
Hey!
And people like myself
are dying.
No, people like myself that have gone out of the way to avoid their children having these things are getting cast in a way that
because it's probably them that spread it.
It's not probably. It's definitely. Regardless of whether you feel it does something else outside of the immunization, it definitely immunizes the child. So if you decide not to, then when these things flare up, you have to be part of the problem.
But you can actually go and get them done.
You
singly.
can, but there's one you can't get separately.
Okay.
There's two, and it's the measles one. The mumps and rubella.
Yeah, so
you can get. I can get them now in Milton Keynes. I can go there to a doctor, get them separately, or Germany or other countries in Europe. But the measles one individually, as far as I know, and because my wife just told me, you cannot get that by itself now
in any country.
She called up the doctor in Milton Keynes. I said, why you told me you would have gone there all this time? She's like, yeah, but they said they can do the two of them individually, but you cannot get the measles one by itself in the UK, and we don't know if you can get it done outside of the UK even.
Wow.
So you definitely can't get it in the UK. It's not allowed. But from what I understood a couple of years ago, you could get it in Germany, or there's other places in Europe. So I was going to go to Europe, especially, I should do it before Brexit quickly, innit? And get it done individually. Because it's not that I don't want her to have the thing. It's just this MMR jab. But anyway, I've spoken enough now. Do you guys want to say something before she goes in? Because I got the feeling she's going to go in.
So that's what I was about to quickly say, is that those people that are in America and they're getting the measles and it's spreading through them, surely it's only the people that haven't had the vaccination.
I was going to say
that's the
that
point.
as well.
So then why does the people that have had the vaccination care?
Because
That's the question.
because end of the day, you care about society, innit?
Let's say that your
No, that's
child.
fair enough.
Do they?
Let's say that your
I don't know,
child is yet to get it because he just hasn't had the time to get it yet. Maybe it's within a year or something, and they just haven't decided to get it right now. and now they come in contact with your child or whoever that's got the measles.
And it's deep, you know. You can have it and leave the room. 20 minutes later, I come in the room and can catch it. It's that kind of disease. So if you have newborn and they haven't had, I don't know when they get it. I can't remember whether it's in week 1 or week 2. But you could take your child out in the first couple of weeks, go to a social setting or somewhere like here, and one of us has it because we're immunized or whatever. We're not. You get what I'm saying, anyways. It can happen.
But is immunization to stop you from getting it, or is it to stop it from spreading?
Both. Let the knowledgeable person speak, mate.
Both.
I was gonna say also that
Gaza.
both my kids have been given the immunization.
Yes.
It's just that
you did it later.
We done it later and separately. So my son is 15, so he got it done in his first year. So I can't remember what the rules were back then, but both of them got it done separately. So if the MMR, so if the measles and the mumps one need to be together, then so be it. I kind of like left their mum to go and do it after we decided that that's the decision that we were going to make.
You go and cleanse the children. I'll stay here while you cleanse them.
And we'll do but they didn't have them together.
So
both of them.
Kourtney, the expert.
Okay.
There's
so many things that you guys touched on in this. Okay, so who asked what the point of vaccinations was?
Simple Simon, I believe.
No,
it doesn't matter.
I think it was Big Wahala.
I said,
is it to protect you or to prevent you? It's to do both. Okay, so the point of immunization is to expose you to the pathogen. A small dose, which is normally inactivated, that allows your immune system to recognize it as a pathogen and build up basically resistance towards that pathogen, essentially. So if you do come into contact with it at a later point in life, you already have the antibodies made to fight that particular infection. Okay?
100%? Or you could still potentially get it as well.
So this is what some people might say are the cons of vaccination. It's not necessarily a con, but some vaccinations they don't provide lifelong immunization. So for example, I will double check, but I think measles is one that you might have to have topped up at a later point in life. I think
you get it in school, innit?
Yes. So I think for some, where the immunology that you build up is not lifelong, you have to have booster vaccination. So for example, I work in a lab where I could be exposed to pathogens which can give you typhoid.
Damn.
When I started working in that lab, I had to have a booster for my typhoid. I also had to have a booster for my cholera because I was working in a lab where you could get cholera and so on and so forth.
Move over.
Normally, I was going to do it as well. I was thinking, okay, we're moving over.
I'm playing.
So some vaccinations won't provide you with lifelong immunity. With regards to combined vaccinations, sometimes it's just because of efficiency. They work more efficiently if you have them combined. Other reasons might be cost. So it might be cheaper to have a combined vaccination where you do all three at one go rather than having
other reasons.
individual.
They're trying to control us.
It's almost always cost.
They're not trying to. Do you know what? They're not trying to control you. So when you were talking, the reason why I was on my phone is because I wanted to pull up figures, so I wasn't just speaking out of thin air. So last year we experienced a few measles outbreaks across England.
I'm gonna call Kourt.
So we've got the numbers here. So there was 913 lab confirmed cases of measles.
All right.
That was in 10 months.
All right.
Was that in the area where they voted Brexit?
It's nothing to do with area, no.
I'm just saying.
So the reason why it's a big deal if you don't vaccinate your child
Kourtney,
your child is going to go to school with other children.
Go in. I can see you're dancing around it.
No, be nice.
Don't be nice.
You have to. I think vaccination. So the point of vaccination is to provide something that we call herd immunity.
Yeah.
So if 95% of the population is immunized against that one particular disease or pathogen, it's unlikely that pathogen will cause an outbreak that could turn into an epidemic, a pandemic, and kill a large number of people. So that's the point of immunization and trying to immunize as many people as possible. Okay.
So that's why they give you Ghanaian jollof real early. So later on you don't die from it.
You lot.
I'm just asking the question because I know they try to force it on children when they're early.
Do you know what? My brother-in-law is going to listen to this, and he's Ghanaian. So
I'm sorry for you that happened.
I love you. I like Ghanaian jollof.
That's another problem. That you
No, she said she likes it. She didn't say anything else. There's nothing wrong with liking it.
The pathogen.
But she also winked as she said it. And she likes working with disease. So come on now.
I am. I'm a different type of person. But yeah, so that's why they say that not vaccinating your children, not only do you put your child at risk, because again, like you said, like this is the first time your child has been ill for a long period of time, and now you're starting to worry because it's like not normally ill for this amount of time. What's going on? unknowingly, you could have carried something back. You're vaccinated against it. So obviously it affected you a little bit. But because you've got the antibodies, your immune system said, hey, we've seen this before and we know how to kill it. Right? She hasn't had exposure to that. Maybe if it's something that needs to be vaccinated against.
So I'm an irresponsible parent.
I'm not saying you're irresponsible.
That's what you're saying. I'm saying it.
That's no. Wahala's saying that. I think vaccination is a choice that everyone needs to make. But from the scientific point of view, if you're asking me how sound it is, vaccination is something that's essential to make sure that your child doesn't acquire disease because I think a lot of people look in the short term, they're going to get sick and then they'll get better and they'll be fine. Some diseases can affect your child for the rest of their life.
Measles can make you infertile.
I have a friend who had TB. She contracted TB when she was 13. Till this day, she's turning 30 this year. She can't do much that someone her age can do with healthy lungs. She can't do activity-based holidays.
Asian.
Because no, she's not. No. She's not. But she can't do things. No, she can't do things Irish and English. She can't do things that we might want to do. So when she's on holiday, she can't do the whole let's go raving for 10 hours because her chest starts to act up.
That sounds like stuff.
Her lung capacity is not what it should be because she acquired TB at a young age because she didn't have the vaccination, essentially.
I have a question. Something you said about measles just now and the vaccination maybe gave me the impression that measles is something that doesn't evolve, because if they can give you a measles, mumps, rubella vaccination in 1992 and that is good for most of your life, then does that mean that measles as a what do they call that? Is that a disease?
As a pathogen.
As a pathogen
disease,
doesn't evolve.
So the pathogen causing bacteria might not necessarily evolve, but so you have to realize that in terms of evolution and resistance, that's entirely based on what those pathogens are exposed to.
Right.
So you hear about antimicrobial resistance, we have to stop just using antibiotics willy-nilly, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's because some pathogens have been hyper-exposed to certain antibiotics, and as a coping mechanism and a survival mechanism, because they're smart. Bacteria are smart, right? They're like people. You know how we evolved?
Yeah.
So for example, our tailbone of our spine used to be a tail, essentially.
Now it's a coccyx or whatever.
Now it's a coccyx. Our feet used to just be hoof shaped so we could deal better with the terrain that used to cover the planet.
Nice!
And now
Jesus said that we was born like this.
Shout out the Ghanaians.
Go on.
So much hate. But yeah, so we as people, animals, whatever, we evolve to kind of cope better with our environment.
And
Bacteria are exactly the same, right? They evolve to cope better with their environment. So if I see as a bacteria that you are throwing one specific antibiotic at me, I'm going to find a way to make sure that antibiotic can't kill me anymore.
Exactly.
And there's different mechanisms by which they can do that. So some bacterial cells will allow the antibiotic in, but they will develop something called an efflux pump, which actively pumps that antibiotic back out of the bacterial cell so it cannot kill that bacterial cell. Some bacterial cells will change the structure. There will be a change in the protein structure of how that bacteria is made, which means that their cell wall won't even allow an antibiotic particle through because it's too small. So then it's like you can't even penetrate the cell to kill it to begin with. Some bacteria just naturally, some antibiotics just don't work on them because of their structure. Some might develop things called so it's evolution via
Miss, hold on, I'm taking notes. You're going too fast.
sorry. I'm trying.
I'm playing with you, Graham. I'm only joking.
So some bacteria will have so there's something called plasmid transferred resistance. So a plasmid is a single strand of DNA that folds on itself to form like a circle, and that can move between different types of bacteria. So we see it a lot with gram-negative bacteria. We see acquiring resistance mechanisms through plasmids and stuff, and that's why sometimes you can't stop a plasmid.
It sounds like a Kardashian.
If it's gonna
that's mad.
It does though. The way she described it sounds like the Kardashians.
If
all
it
in one
moves,
way.
you can't stop it.
Can't
So
block
that's
it.
why we see resistance. So in terms of the whole it doesn't really change. Some pathogens don't. We're fortunate in that sense that this pathogen's been like this since day and it's not changed. So any effective way of treating disease caused by that pathogen will remain effective, and we're blessed. But some pathogens do evolve. The flu virus is a very good example.
So that means measles is dumb then in this sense, and in that it hasn't evolved at all, even though it's been exposed to
So the thing
our
is
anti-measures.
if we're all immune to measles, right, it's not even going to have the opportunity.
Okay.
Because if I can't get measles and 95% of the people I'm around can't get measles, we can't
that's
expose measles to any antibiotics for it to even develop, to evolve.
You know what the problem is with measles though? measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah.
No one now actually understands the impact of those three diseases.
I've had mumps.
Did you?
They
Yes.
don't.
You probably did because you have everything. But no one actually understands the impacts of it because of the fact that it's been gone for so long, especially
Yeah,
measles.
absolutely.
Measles are eradicated. No one knows measles anymore. Blah, 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 blah.
People get measles.
Yeah, but if you speak to somebody, what's the measles? They'll tell you, I don't know.
They won't know. Some people don't even know the symptoms of measles.
They don't know it
They'll
can
just
kill
say,
you,
"Oh,
for
you
sure."
know, I thought the kid was poorly. Like the kid was fine. Like I thought they were going to.
What is the symptoms of the measles?
So I'm
Of
sure you
measles.
get like a rash of some sort.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like splotches, isn't it? On
Yeah, on your
your
body.
Yeah, it's
Then it can
quite.
affect your
And then
breathing
I
as well,
think
innit?
and then I think you get like a pink tongue. Don't quote me on that. I know there's going to be some scientists listening to this like, you got that wrong. That's not the right symptom. But
F
I'm
them.
doing it
You'll
on top
have
of my head.
people that
But you
got
could die.
those
I haven't
kind of-
studied in years. Like the last time I left uni was years ago. But yeah, you get the signs are quite telltale. You'll have like a fever. You might have like a strawberry tongue, which is like a red tongue, like a hyper red tongue. You'll get like splodges of rash and stuff, and they'll be like generally like tired and lethargic and like just not want to do anything.
But you can die.
So you can die. A lot
can
of
die
things
from
that you're
measles.
vaccinated against, you can die, and that's why they try and vaccinate you as early as possible.
Can I ask, are you a conspiracy theorist?
No,
Do you
I'm not.
co-sign to any of it?
Am I of conspiracy
Yeah.
theories? Not when it comes to vaccination.
Okay.
Some things, yeah, like
Because there are some theories,
Mhm.
you know, here and in Americas and even
And in your house.
and even in parts of Africa, where there's one doctor in America. I was trying to find his name.
Sebi.
No, he's a white guy. Funny enough, and
Can't be
and,
trusted.
and he is claiming that it is a matter of fact that some of these vaccinations have a more detrimental effect on black people.
Okay.
What would you say about that? Do you think that
I don't
there's
see
any-
how that would. If a bacteria is made against the bacteria, right? So we know the immune system. This is the great thing about science, is that it's very black and white, and that's why I fare very well of it. There's very little room for interpretation and, you know, subjectiveness when it comes to on how science actually works.
Science is a faith, though. But keep going.
Okay. Your immune system sees a bacteria, goes, oh my gosh, that's dangerous. It's going to make us sick. We need to develop something that's going to fight it. In result, it will develop antibodies, which will attack and kill that pathogen. Those antibodies, so there's a subset of cells as part of your immune cells that will purposely take chunks of that bacteria to remember its structure, so that should you come into contact with that later on in life, it's like, oh hey, we already know who we need to send for you. You lot need to go. That's the thing that you need
Send
to kill.
the man them
right,
in now.
basically, right?
On the ops.
How genetic structure would influence that, I can't actually give you a feasible argument for how, because our immune systems are built the same. We have innate immunity, which is stuff that we're born with, and we have acquired. Acquired immunity is kind of being exposed to something and then developing the immunity as a result of. Innate is stuff like immune cells and so on and so forth.
Our immunities aren't the same.
Yeah, I was going to say
Elaborate.
black people and people from Africa, maybe people from Europe. I don't know the right terminology.
Just-
and things
just-
like
Okay, so there's
just-
are we
something
different in
depending
terms of our
depending
blood
on your
types
ethnicity.
and our
ethnicity.
biology?
Let them finish. I want to hear what they're saying.
I think I know where you're going with it though. So you're saying
Yeah, go
why
on.
are black people more prone to certain diseases and people from the Mediterranean maybe more prone to certain
Don't
diseases?
put words in their mouth. Let
So-
them say it, because then
Am I
if you're
right?
gonna crush them, let them let them dig the grave.
Is
before
that what you mean? Or
I was going to go down that route, but Simple was also going to say.
I want to hear what you have to say. Bro.
What I was gonna say was
I just passed the rugby ball backwards and say,
no.
go right forward.
What I was gonna say was
I'm trying to find this doctor's name, man.
what's it called? Early explorers who went to different lands couldn't settle in some places because they just couldn't build up the immunity for the diseases that were in those places.
That's absolutely correct.
Whereas the people that were there in those places didn't have a thing.
She did cover that.
How?
Because they've already
the-
been exposed to it. So if I've been exposed to it from a young age, it's
Yeah.
not going to affect me. If I've grown up my entire life
Yeah.
without exposure to that one particular pathogen,
Yeah.
of course when I come into contact with it for the first time, it's going to make me sick.
That's why when we go to
That's why, I don't know if you
certain
saw
places, we have to
recently
get
in
our
the
jabs,
news.
innit?
Yeah, that's why you have to get jabs. In the news recently, there was the photographers, I think, they were Christian
we spoke about that.
missionaries,
Yeah.
I went to that
which
island,
tried
innit?
to go to the island
Yeah.
and they were killed. It was
Rightly
said
so.
quite explicitly in the news, if we habitate their island, they will die.
Yeah.
Because they are not immune to some of the diseases that we are immune to. So even with us, if we're carrying something, we've been vaccinated against it. We've had to deal with it. We've developed the immunity. If we catch it, cool, our immune system's going to deal with it. They probably haven't even had the common cold. So if you go there
immunity can be
and
passed
they
on
acquire...
generationally.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So we're born with certain things that just been passed down through generations.
So then explain something.
Depends if you're breastfed or not. Immunity that you acquire from your mother
Comes from
is
the
through
breast.
breastfeeding.
Can you please tell these women that's going
Specifically.
out there getting breast implants and they can't do the titty thing that they were supposed to? The whole point of titty is to breastfeed, and now you're making the titty.
Yeah,
redundant.
absolutely. So that
and,
is
and faster suck.
I think it's called, I'm going to Google it just to check, but I think it's called vertical like acquiring of immunity.
It's called titties, I think. But go on.
Basically, so there's antibodies passed through the milk of the mother.
Of
So
course.
anything that the mother is kind of immune to,
You'll be
when the
immune to.
child is taking up the milk to a degree,
Yes.
you would obviously gain immunity.
And you also gain intolerances to stuff as well for the same mechanism. The other question I was going to ask you is, I've been fortunate enough to travel quite a bit, and I find it very interesting.
Bastard, you.
He is. I find it very interesting that when you leave the UK, there is a long list of things that they suggest you get immunized against when you go to other places, which is cool. But when you're going from other places into the UK, that list doesn't exist. Equally, when you come from somewhere, they fly down the plane with that, let's get rid of the anti-infection thing. But when you're going out, they don't do the same. So I'm trying to figure out why that is.
Okay, so with regards to the going out thing, I
Yeah.
think what you're referring to is NAFNAC, and that is the guide of what you should be immunized against if you're traveling to certain places.
I understand that.
That's based off of what is endemic in that country.
Right.
The people who live in that country are not going to be affected too much by those diseases.
Get it.
They have immunity towards it.
Get it.
So what they're saying to you is, hey, if you go here, you might come into contact with bacteria that you won't come into contact with in England.
Got it.
So we suggest that you get this pathogen, this vaccination to make sure that you don't get sick as
Got
a
it.
result of coming into contact with it. Coming out, the UK is very developed. In terms of immunization schedules, we have one of the best in the world. So, and we don't really have an endemic disease here. Could anyone tell me an endemic disease here
I keep telling
White
you
people.
that you could treat with a vaccination?
No, that's not right.
Who said that?
Who said that?
That were me for what? I usually it's me.
Just do a
said that?
process of elimination.
Who said,
Timeless.
said that?
Who said what?
Okay.
But we do have
It was Stavros. I'm only joking.
Jesus Christ.
we do have stupidity here, height of it.
No, but then what's the
Stupidity can't be vaccinated against. I'm afraid.
what's the big thing that we have here?
The big thing.
The big
Do we? Think about it.
flu.
Okay.
Well, every country's got flu.
I don't know.
We're offered a flu jab every year for free. If you've got asthma, if you're pregnant, if you're
But
over
you have to
65.
get it every
Is the
year.
flu
What I'm
jab a
saying
good
to you is
thing?
when people
The
come in
reason why you have to get the
'cause
flu jab,
it's a
I'm
ninja.
defending the flu jab
It's an-
because
Okay.
Go
I
on.
worked
My parents get
on
the flu
a
jab and they always
project.
get the flu after they get the flu jab.
I worked on a flu project, and
Yeah.
I know for a fact for myself.
So it's your fault.
Speak to me.
I
Speak. Go on.
didn't-
Speak to us.
Wait,
I
let
didn't say
her
it's my
finish. Go
fault.
on.
The reason why the flu jab, so the flu virus itself is one of the most unpredictable viruses.
It's gangster. I know.
It is. It's a G.
Keep going.
So there was a year when the flu jab didn't work. Oh my gosh, the NHS is in crisis. So many people are getting the flu. Why didn't the flu jab work? It's because it evolved in a way that wasn't predicted.
I'm like Walking Dead.
So what we do, what the scientists who work with the flu jab and develop the flu jab every year on year, they will look at what strains of flu have been popular in season. So the ones that have occurred the most. So for example, flu season will start end of September, October. They'll start sending out testing packs to GPs, to hospitals and so on and so forth. Hospitals will calibrate all their machines if they're using
Testing
point of
packs.
care testing. Yeah, so it's like if you've got the flu, you have like a nasal swab to see, to run for PCR and all that kind
And
of
to
stuff.
put
Yeah.
microchips in your brain.
Go on. Keep going.
Such conspiracy theorists. So they start prepping for flu season, and then through flu season, which is normally like October until maybe like April, we can say that safely, like the number of influenza-like illnesses kind of drop down.
Yeah.
They will look at what types of flu are being confirmed.
Okay.
So whether it's flu A or flu B, which particular strains,
Yeah.
how much of each particular strain, and so on and so forth. The information they gather from that is what they say, okay, cool. So this year, this is the types of flu that were circulating. So maybe for next year's jab, we need to incorporate these types of flu into the jab because they were the ones that were circulating the most this year. It's more than likely that they'll return the next year coming, essentially. So next year's jab should have these strains in them because these are the ones that people were infected with the most.
So
But what
if-
I'm saying is, I get that.
Yeah.
But how comes people that are coming into England don't have to take the jab?
But we don't know that. We don't know what other healthcare systems, you don't know what resources they have. Maybe they don't have the resources to offer flu jabs to people like that. We're very fortunate in this country where certain medications and vaccinations and stuff are offered to us for free if we're within the age or we meet the criteria for it, right? In other countries, it's not the same. Other countries don't have a healthcare system that is as developed as ours.
Okay.
They have healthcare systems. Some people just can't pay.
Yeah.
Some people just don't even know
For jabs. Or some people just don't even know. Like, hey, if I travel there, I might get the flu. Some people choose not to. Like, okay, I live in a country where there's cholera. What's flu going to do to me? You know? Like, attitudes are very much based on where you're from and what you've experienced, what you've been exposed to.
Yeah.
Access to healthcare in the place that you're from, and in general, your culture's attitude towards vaccinations. Remember, some cultures don't really believe in vaccinations. They'd rather not.
Yeah.
And that's their personal choice and their decision. So in terms of like, oh, why don't they offer you this when you come back here? If your GP is not in India, why would someone in India on the street to say, hey, before you go back to London, you should get this jab because I hear it's rife there?
No, I'm talking about the actual travel boards. I'm talking about not individual.
But they don't.
people.
They might not have travel boards set up the way that we do. We have NAFNAC, which if I'm traveling anywhere, I can go on the NAFNAC website and say, this is the place that I'm traveling to, and it will give me a recommendation of all the vaccinations I can get. And it will tell you the ones that you definitely need if you're traveling to that area, and the ones that you might want to consider if you're doing certain activities or going into the more rural parts.
So this
of that
NAFNAC
area.
site is only for Britain going out. It's not for people coming in.
Yes, as far as I know, I don't think it's Britain going out. I think it's just like a general thing.
Okay.
Because you can type in any country in the world.
All right.
and it will tell
I'm
you
going
what
to type
vaccinations
on
you
that
need.
to see what
Remember,
type.
some vaccinations aren't offered in the NHS, so you have to pay for them privately.
No, I'm
So,
saying
for
I
example,
want to
yellow
see the
fever.
ones for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I got you. I got you.
All right.
Respect on that.
So we can all agree Kourtney doesn't know what she's talking about. As she's not well versed on this at all.
Wow.
They'll put a chip in their brain as well, man.
No. So
She's controlled.
Do you know what? I'm very passionate about healthcare because for me, health is wealth. So if you can look after yourself enough, and this surpasses medicine, right? Obviously, medicines will play a big part in it and so on and so forth. But I think even in your day-to-day, if you look after your body, your body will reward you.
When I told her
your
my breakfast this morning, you see the way she looked
exercise.
What?
Just even, do you know what? Even just like your lifestyle preferences. So like for me, mental health is a big thing, and I encourage people all the time, switch off from social media sometimes, go for a walk.
We just came back from Cuba. We know all about that.
Yeah. Cuba's nice though.
This mental health thing.
I mean, I hope you didn't come back with any sickness.
No. Well, he did.
He did.
Well, mental health.
So what was yours? Was it more gastro? Was it a flu or what?
I think it seemed like the flu.
Uh-huh.
I had flu-like symptoms, like I was knocked out. It wasn't a cold. But so and I didn't seem to have these gastro issues. But then when the flu symptoms died down a bit and I could kind of go out, then the gastro problem started. So I don't know if it was part of the same thing. Maybe it was two parts or it's two different things.
Converging at once.
The gastro thing is lingering.
I'm very well versed with gastro stuff because that's my field.
That's your field.
Unless it's like a serious illness, gastrointestinal symptoms normally pop up real quick. I'm talking like between 6 and 48 hours.
Yep.
So like you'll eat that food and in a few hours you're going to know,
Yeah, I knew that
I
one
shouldn't
day,
have
bro.
eaten that food. That food wasn't right.
Let me just be a bit
Stavros, bifidus digestivum.
So you guys might want to cover your ears, listeners, if you don't like hearing a bit of filth. Let's just say that certain activities gave certain results
Yeah.
Okay.
on the loo
Yeah, of course.
and certain aromas, and then my daughter had exactly the same activities and aromas.
Probably caught it off the toilet.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that kind of sounds more like a viral thing though.
So this mental health
More
thing,
viral.
you touched on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that a trend now? Or what?
Is mental health a trend?
Yeah.
it is, man.
I don't think
It's a
mental health
fad.
is a trend.
It's a
I
fad.
think it's not a fad. I think
Health is wealth. No, I want to cuss people first, man. Make sure you get yourself. Keep yourself to yourself. Don't let people around you that do mental health. Meanwhile, these people are doing all manner of nonsense and trash, and they don't even know how to just to keep themselves to themselves
That's
and their legs
hypocrisy,
closed.
though. Do you know what it is? I think we need to. I think back in the day we weren't as aware of how your mental health can actually affect you as a person. I think now people are becoming more aware of how important this is within themselves. That's why it's
You touched your
become
head, Peter.
such a big deal. I did. I touched my head. Because, and I can give you examples. So as someone who's dealt with mental health issues, so last year I developed an anxiety issue, right? And it was a major issue to the point where my sister had to kind of hold me and say, you need to get help.
And then you saw a photo of me and everything was right.
You're a clown, bro.
It's my proper fix is a medicine. Okay.
Yes.
Keep going anyway.
Do you know what? I wish it was that simple. So basically I had,
Oh, I like what you did there.
in
That's
a
simple.
short space of time, right? I had experienced 2 major losses. So I'd lost my nan, and then a friend of ours had committed suicide out of the
Sorry
blue.
to hear that.
Sorry to hear that.
Condolences.
So for us, it was like the shock, and it was literally like maybe like 6 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I just dealt with the loss of my nan, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this person has committed suicide. And at the point in time, I've always been a resilient person. I've worked in hospitals. I have seen people die. Like I've been around when people, and I've been like, oh, you know, that's life. As you get older, you die. Like your body. But those 2 deaths rocked me, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's okay. Like, okay, that's just what happens. Like people get old, they die or whatever. The suicide thing rocked me completely. Because it was like, oh, that was someone who I knew to be this way. Why would they do that? Their life was great, so on and so forth. When I started asking myself all these questions, I became so anxious about everything around me. I would look at my friends and be like, are they really okay? Like, what if, like, in their head, like, there's something going on, and so on and so forth. And as a result, like, and even of my granddad, obviously, my nan left my granddad when she passed. They've been married for 55 years. So now my granddad's at home by himself. So I'd be on my way to work, like, is he going to be okay? Like, what if he falls or something? Like, what's going to go? He's going to be in the house by himself. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. Like he could just die at home by himself. And you develop this irrational, and they are, now I know, and I've dealt with it, they are irrational thoughts. But at the time, they seem so logical. And I was like, yeah, cool. Like you're really thinking good. Like you're thinking in a way that makes sense. You're thinking of worst case scenarios. You're thinking of how to tackle the issue and so on and so forth. I didn't realize that I was actually developing like a hyper anxiety and becoming to the point where I was obsessive compulsive. I would go back to my house. The bus stop is maybe like a 3-minute walk from my house. I would walk back and forth from the bus stop 4 or 5 times to check if the door was locked.
Okay.
Right. The reason why I used to go check if the door is locked is, oh my gosh, my granddad's in the house by himself. What if someone tries to break into the house and they hurt him in the process of robbing the house?
Okay. All right.
I live in literally the countryside. Who's breaking into your house? It was completely irrational, but I had convinced myself that that was a normal thought process.
I think suicide does that though, because even because our brother killed himself, right? So I think the thing that I got from that is I don't feel I'm allowed to be sad in a way, or not openly sad in front of my parents because of fear of them might. So at the moment I lost my job 2 months ago, right? So I'm jobless.
Waste man.
Listen,
so insensitive.
I am a house husband. I cook, I clean. But anyway, so
that's different.
no, it's not different. It's not different at all.
Do you wash her feet when she comes home?
I don't wash it. I sometimes rub it.
He's getting married, man.
It's a terrible
He's
thing
got the
for me to do.
blueprint, man.
So you're doing the laundry and stuff, yeah?
I've done it, man. Laundry, washing things. She's come over. She's like, oh, what did she say to me the other day?
The house ain't clean. Clean the house.
The other day, I was messaging each other. She
You
goes
missed
to me,
a bit.
She goes to me, what's for dinner? I must have told her what she said. She goes, oh, because I wanted that. It looked really nice. I was like, that's deep.
She came back and went, you missed a bit.
I was looking at her. I was,
Yeah.
She has said that.
She's going around and wiping counters,
Yeah.
looking at her finger like,
You've been in the house all day.
is
Ain't
that
done now. Waste, man. I am.
Anyway, get to your point. Sorry, I derailed
What I
you.
was saying, but I was hurt, man.
Shit.
But anyway, so so I might just say randomly things like, oh, been a couple of days now, 21 days. Like I'll give like a timeline of how long it's been about having the job. So now for me, it's just me saying it, innit? But for them, it's like my mom helped them call me. Are you okay? Is things okay? Are you all right? And I forget that it's not just you being normal parents have got that fear of you already. But because they've had a child that's killed themselves, and the problem with me, it's not so much with Stav, but more with me, is they always say that I'm like him the most. You're like him. You're so like him. You're almost the same like him. So I think at times they are more worried about me because I'm like him than they are probably Stav. And well, Stav's always emotional, so him being emotional is not a big deal for anyone.
Yeah.
And my sister's a sister, innit? So she's the girl, innit? So
Okay.
This man just wow.
I know really savage girls, but I
yeah, I know.
what he's trying to say is, in his own special way, is that my sister shows and deals with her emotions.
Yes.
And Stavros
Yes.
shows and deals with his emotions. Whereas this one is, big wahala, innit?
You don't.
Do you know
you
what?
don't. You
I'm
don't
not
show
even gonna
nothing.
knock it because I'm the same. Like it literally, like at the point when my nan died, my best friends phoned me. They were like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" Like they've been to my house. They met my nan. We'd sat in a room. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. got to a point where like people came around to the house, like people were crying at my front door, and I'd be like, okay, like stop crying and come in if you're gonna come in. Like I don't really.
It makes no sense. Why
And
they
then
crying
like at my nan's funeral, one of my aunties came to me and said, "You haven't cried once. I don't understand why you've not cried. You're allowed." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And she was like, "I don't think you do." But it takes for someone to point it out to you, like, "Hey, you haven't grieved yet, and you're allowed to before you can actually grieve."
Yeah.
So after I developed my anxiety issue and whatever, so the day I realised, I'll big up my sister for this forever. That's like my ride or die.
Shout out to sister.
I was on my way to work, and it was the day that the Grenfell fires happened.
Yep.
Right. So this has been an ongoing thing. My nan passed away in February. Our friend committed suicide in April. Grenfell was like summertime, right? So like June, July. So I'm on the tram. I'm like 2 stops away from my house.
Notice she said tram.
We know where you live.
South London.
Croydon.
We know where you live already.
Yeah.
That's what
and
we were
I've
saying
gone on
about your house,
BBC
all that.
News because that's what I do. Like I'll go on the news on my way to work and I see Grenfell fire, and then I'm like, did I unplug my phone charger from the wall?
You start worrying about
Then I
other
was
things.
like, I didn't unplug my phone charger from the wall. Then I'm like, okay, I need to go back and unplug my charger from the wall.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I'm on my way to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go home. I phone my sister. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't remember if I unplugged my phone. Granddad's in the house. What if the house catches fire? Did you see on the news this block of flats is like burning down? I need to go back. And she's like, you're going to be late for work if you go back. You know that, right? And I'm like, I don't care. I need to get off the tram like right now. I like run off the tram, like push people up, get off the tram and go back home. I was like an hour and a half late to work.
Yeah.
I got to work. You know, when I got home, the charger was unplugged because I know I unplug the charger every single morning. The first thing I do when I get out of bed, I take my phone off the charger and I take the plug out of the wall and switch off the plug. That's my routine. But I had convinced myself that I hadn't done it.
Being electric
do
responsible
that.
and
Yeah.
ease.
So do that, get back on my way to work, so on and so forth. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't lock the door.
So you went back again?
No, I did worse.
Okay.
I phoned my sister crying. So it got to the point where I was messaging her, like I went back, I unplugged, like to check if my thing was unplugged, but now I'm not sure if the door's not locked. Granddad's in the house, blah, whatever. She's like, I'm sure you locked it, it's fine. I'm like, no, you need to go and check the house.
But
At this point in time, my niece has been born in the April. She was born in the twins. She was born in her sack and she had a cord around her neck. They were in an intensive care for like a month. So my nieces have literally just only been home for maybe like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. My nephew's free. He's not at nursery yet, whatever. I phone her. I'm bawling down the phone. You need to go to mum's house. She's like, you want me to take my children who have literally just come out of hospital and go to mum's house to check if this door is locked because you can't remember if you locked it or not. And I'm like, yeah, you need to go. And she's like, listen to what I'm saying to you. You want me to take my babies, which have just come out of a neonatal intensive care. Yeah. And go and check if the door's locked. At this point, I'm literally wailing on the phone, like, please go and do it. I won't be able to live with myself if anything happens. I'm crying in public at a train at East Croydon. I am bawling my eyes out. She's like, I'll message you. She comes off the phone. Get to work. She's like, I went to mum's house. The door is locked. I drove past there twice. I checked. The door is locked twice. Are you okay now? I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks so much for the best or whatever. I literally got home and she was waiting for me. She phoned me and she said, I think you need to go talk to a doctor.
Boy, Nigerians would have dealt with you a different way, boy.
Because
shut up! What do you mean you're asking me to go and look for somebody's
yeah,
house?
she just said to me, like but the thing is, my sister, like your sister, she puts her emotions out there and she deals with it. And she said to me, why are you so anxious? What are you so scared about? What has made you this way? Why do you feel like that? Are you stressed at work? Do you need to take some time off? Is there one particular thing that is stressing you? If you don't want to talk to us, there's other people that you can talk to. I can find you someone, so on and so forth. So she is very helpful in getting to the solution, essentially. Had she not flagged it up to me, I would have thought that was a normal way of thinking, like, yeah, I'm just being hyper safe. There's it's not irrational.
So you've gone through these issues. Your sister's flagged it up.
Yeah.
She's asked you to speak to a professional.
Yep.
Was it smooth sailing from there, or was it a long thing?
So weirdly enough, I didn't speak to a professional. And that's not because I didn't want to, but it's just because I wanted to try myself to find what the problem was with myself first, to see where my anxiety developed from and see if maybe I could tackle that issue by myself.
That's the scientist in you, though.
So what I did, so that's like the logical, okay, let's go back to square one and think about how we got to square 10, essentially. I'm very fortunate. My work offer a lot of training. I enrolled myself in a mental health first aiders course. So I was like, okay, maybe if I become a mental health first aider, I can better understand my own condition and other conditions that people, you know, have to deal with. Okay. in going to that course, I learned so much about how it actually works. And then I realized like, oh yeah, it's right. Like you develop irrational thoughts. That's completely what I was doing. I was getting like irrational thoughts about the most simple of things. As a result, obviously the stuff that I learned on that course to help other people deal with whatever they're going to, I started practicing myself. So it was things like building mental resilience. So when something goes wrong, saying, okay, it's not gone the way you expected it to, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. Let's think of a solution. It was things like practicing mindfulness, which is the art of just saying, these are the things that I can control and I can control the outcome. These are the things that I cannot control and I cannot control the outcome, and I just have to let them be. Okay, so you
should have come to me from before. I would have told you what this one before.
But the thing is because I'd never experienced this before. This was a complete alien thing to me. I'd never actually been in a position where I'd started to think irrationally and made my sister drag her kids to go and make sure the door was locked. So all these things, I'm like, I start to practice them or whatever. There's great apps and stuff as resources. So Headspace is one of the ones that I like because it encourages you to meditate. And it says, just like sit down nicely, like taking deep breaths, think about what went good about your day and what could go better. Think about the things that didn't happen the way you expect them to happen and just say, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. Let it go. So because I started to practice all these things, I wouldn't say healed myself because sometimes when I am stressed, I still do get anxious. But now I know what my triggers are. Or I can recognize when it's becoming irrational. I can say, well, I need to take a step back. I need to take time off of work so I can just have time outside of, if work is too stressful, have time outside of the stressful environment. If it's something in particular, I say, okay, I need to change this because this is making me quite anxious and so on and so forth. So I think where I became aware of it, I now know how to deal with it. And I think that's kind of what's happened with mental health. Like as a picture, people have become aware of how it can actually affect their day-to-day lives. And they're like, stop, I need to do something about it. Because at work, I was underperforming at work. There was a day that my manager sent me home. She said, I can't have you here like this. Wow. Because you're not functioning the way that I need you to function. You need to go home and you need to literally just sit and stop and not be stressed. But if someone at work is picking that up,
yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think there's still a lot of people out here that's self-diagnosing themselves with mental health. That's chatting rubbish.
So I think
you can't have a bad day anymore. You can't have a bad day.
I think
has to be mental
so. That's the thing. You have to, and that's where resilience comes into play. Resilience is saying, okay, cool. If it doesn't go the way that I expect it to go, I need to be able to roll with the punches to an extent. But if you do feel like you have a mental health issue, you need to go to the doctor and speak to a doctor, or go to a professional and speak to a professional, because they're the people. I didn't, but I spoke to my sister works in childcare services. Okay. So she works in social services. She deals with a lot of people who come from different backgrounds and stuff. So she was able to say to me, I think you've got a problem. Unfortunately, at that point in time, there was a course being offered on the thing that I thought was my problem. So I was like, great, I can do this course. And from that course, I learned, okay, yeah, you did have an anxiety issue. You were thinking completely irrationally and so on and so forth. I did go to the doctor later on, just so it was on my record. And I say, I've been struggling with an anxiety issue. As a result, like this is what I've done and so on and so forth. But I would like to go on my medical record that I did struggle with it. They offered me pills. And I said to them, I don't really want to do it that way. I don't want to take pills. I feel like that will imbalance me more. I would rather deal with it my own way. But I'm just letting you know so that if anything comes up in the future, you have it on record, like actually she's dealt with this before. Maybe that's what's influenced this and so on and so forth. And that was the reason I did it. But
one day I do want to go therapy though.
And awareness.
One day I do want to go.
Yes, I think it's awareness.
You do want to go?
I want to go therapy one day.
Do you know what though? A lot of people say this. You have to be prepared, man.
Yeah, I am. That's why I want to go.
Because you know therapists are like
as well. Not all of them are good.
Yeah, I know.
Therapists aren't there to tell you things that you want to hear.
Well, I'm movie staff, so that's cool. That's not a big deal.
Therapists are there to get down to your issue.
Right?
And sometimes,
I can't talk to you properly anymore.
Well, he starts now.
It's just the truth.
His shadows now put me.
Okay. Well, we've spoken about mental health now.
Just to make a quick note on the person that I was trying to find, the doctor.
Yes.
We went back. I found him. His name is Mike Adams.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can screenshot that.
Dr. Mike Adams, and I'll send that to you.
Let me see what Mike is saying.
Yeah, he's a doctor. and he's got a website called naturalnews.com.
His name is
He's a
Dr. Mike Adams,
and he's a doctor.
And he's a doctor.
And he's got a website.
You have to listen.
was
You need
trying
to
to
be
find
wary
his-
of where these people get their doctorates from. Some people are only doctorates
Mr. Wolf's our
by.
uncle, man. He just sends whatever he's saying.
It could be a PhD that's
he's-
completely unrelated to what he's trying to preach about.
Nah, he's had a history of
violence.
no, he's
Jesus movie
nah,
sign, man.
he's got a history of he's got a background of science and some of the things
What
that
science is?
you spoke to. Well, I'm not going
You
to
don't know,
quote him,
innit? You don't know, do you?
but basically he's got knowledge and he's well
In the
known in the
field.
industry and,
Okay.
and the field. That's what
Fair
I'm trying
enough.
to get at.
All right, Steph, what are we going to,
Fair
bro?
dues, fair dues. But
All
yeah, anyone mental health, there's lots of. I just want to say it before we change speed. There's lots of resources that you could use. If you go online, Mind is an amazing charity. I'm not plugging them. I'm not endorsed by them. They're an amazing
Plug
charity.
them, man. If they're amazing, then plug them.
They do a lot of work, and I can't recommend Headspace, the app, enough. It's fantastic if you need to just switch off
Available for Android and
for
iOS.
6 to 12 minutes a day,
Banda.
just to reflect and meditate. It's just for meditation purposes.
I don't like
It's
What's it
meditation.
called? Mindfulness.
Why don't you like meditation?
it's meditation. So Headspace encourages
Headspace.
meditation. Yeah, it's called
Headspace.
Headspace.
I don't like meditation.
You know what's wrong with Big
Why?
Wahala? He don't like meditation because it leaves you alone with your thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. You
and
need to
his
be by
But
yourself.
His
meditation
thoughts are
teaches you
outrageous.
to switch off and just
Yeah, but I switch off
let
with-
everything
with my
go.
programs. With my soaps.
You don't. You know what doesn't happen when you're watching TV?
that?
Switching off, bro.
I switch off, boy.
You're just adding into the box.
And sleep.
All right. Are we done now?
Yeah, we're done. Just wanted to plug that before.
You also need to.
You know,
protect mental health.
most guests, you worry about them not talking.
Yeah, she's good. She's good.
Yeah, I
she's
proper
good.
chat up. Yeah.
No, you're good, man.
She works
You're
on a
good.
radio, man. Of course she's going to be
Yeah,
able to chat.
true.
You're a legend, man. You're a legend.
And
I'm just
sometimes I
gonna-
have to do radio by myself, like no guests. So it's like 3
I
hours
don't,
of
I
just
don't
me.
think you need any help.
It's a
You
bit
got
boring
this.
listening to Kourt sometimes, though. Just me by myself.
No, you.
Yeah, look, when you're talking sensible things, then it's
Yeah,
all right, innit? But then again, you don't know. Every week you might get to a point where you need somebody else there.
Mm.
I'm gonna run up on your stage. What time on Saturday morning? Is
Yeah,
it?
Seven.
7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I had a grime artist come on. Razor, big up Razor if you're listening to this. He came on and literally, like, he got there. I was like, oh, thanks so much for coming. He's like, yo, like, I know you've been up, but I'm a grime head. Like, we rave at like 3 a.m. So I'm a bit tired still. I was like, okay.
Just diminished your whole
And then
conversation.
like he warmed up a little bit. I was like, okay. He's like, just so you know, grime artists don't do the morning thing. Like our events late in the evening, so
Yeah.
invite us in the afternoon. I was like, sorry,
It's not gonna
grime
happen.
artists. So yeah,
No, I'll roll up there. If I'm coming, I'm coming.
yeah.
in.
Pull up, energy. What's that?
This is a picture of my brother and my sister-in-law that my wife just sent me because it's on Instagram.
But you didn't see it.
I don't think he's even seen
No,
it.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures, but
I didn't know that was on Insta.
did you know you're out there, bruv?
I don't know. You didn't ask.
Why did men have such an issue? Oh, this is like me taking. Sorry, guys.
No, that's not, I don't mind.
Why?
But man should. If you want to put my picture on Insta,
Let me know, innit?
you can't just put man's picture on Insta like that.
Do you want to tell the backstory?
But you lot are throwing our pictures in group chats without permission. So
Ooh, suki. We stopped doing that now. We don't.
Just saying.
You lot are also putting
Okay,
our
maybe-
pictures out there in group chats
maybe-
without our permissions.
I don't do that.
Don't lie to
I
yourself.
don't do that. I go straight to the source.
You sit there.
I have the best CRB check person ever in the whole of London.
So women do CRB
Ladies,
as well.
you can at me. Yeah.
See, my missus is already.
If you're smart, you're gonna do it. What do you mean?
Thank you.
If you're smart, you're gonna do
Apparently,
CRB
you
check.
shouldn't do it.
You shouldn't do it. I don't understand why anybody don't CRB check. I keep telling you know what the problem is. Like we've got cousins that's girls and stuff like that. They get man, and we keep telling them stop hiding your man from us because we might know your man.
It's true.
Yeah.
We might know your man.
It's true.
There was one time that me and Steph saw somebody that we didn't know whether or not that was one of our people then's man with some next girl somewhere in a restaurant.
Who?
But because you ain't told us that's your man,
We
as far as
ain't
I'm
know.
concerned, that's not your man.
Oh,
So,
you
between the
told
time, so as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason for me to turn up to the guy because you didn't tell me that's your man.
we could have. It was just both of us were there.
He was there looking in his boat. He was trying to hide his face. I like this. But I don't know your.
Well, that's the thing because you didn't. You as especially the person who it was. That's family.
Yeah.
You should have said this is. But I've actually spoken to somebody about this actually.
I want to know if I want to know
I've
if
spoken
that
to one
was
of my
her man
cousins.
though. Was that her man?
Yes.
It ended up being a man because I think they're married now.
Yes.
Hold
on.
Oh, that's tea.
Yes, we met.
Hold on a minute.
Basically,
it was her man.
We met them at.
That you saw out with somebody else.
Yeah, but we didn't know at the time.
It's okay.
But
They're
now-
married now.
but
It's
now
not,
they're
nothing's
married.
gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
God,
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
married
yeah.
now.
Suki now.
I spoke to one of the female cousins and I asked, why is it that, because I was at their house and they listened to the podcast, but they know who they are. I was at their house and I saw this person And then later on, I'm asking, so who is this person? In fact, we went to a restaurant and I left him there. So who is this person? It's just a friend. I said, okay, cool. All right. And you believe your cousin, innit? You believe your peoples.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to lie to me.
He's just a friend.
Then later on, you find out that I had done some waste stuff. And I said, so why didn't you tell me beforehand? It's like, you guys are intimidating. That's the thing. You guys are intimidating.
Intimidating who?
The men. I don't want you to say this or that to the men because you might scare them off. They're men are pussy hoes. They're in the first place. Pussy old man is in it. No, man, you have to come into the jungle. You can't come into the jungle and fight with a man there. Then why are you even there in the first place? You think I could go to somebody, if I could go to my fiance's thing and any man there can intimidate me? No, because I know I'm on my shit. If I ain't doing nothing wrong, what am I intimidated for?
That's exactly it. If there's nothing being...
Gaza formation. Pussy. I'll tell you later.
Do you know what? You've got nothing to hide. I think the difference between a women's CRB check, right? I don't know if many women do it. I do it. Like I have male best friends who I will say like, yo, I met this guy. Do you know him? Do you know anyone that knows him? Like, what is he on, so on and so forth? And they will be honest with me and say, oh, do you know what? I don't know, but do your thing. If that's what you want to do your thing. Or they'll say like, no, like I've heard
Breaking
that
the man code
person
since
that is on the side of man code. When you just tell a girl, you know, do your thing, that's me saying,
Boy,
Yeah, exactly.
but I'm not going against the code, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, exactly.
your check.
Exactly.
Do your check.
I wouldn't tell a girl to do your thing.
They would
if
never
I was-
block me, but they will say, you know what, like
Block
if that's
the
what you
thing.
want to do, that's what you want to do.
It's basically
But,
saying
boy.
it's a sticky one.
Yeah,
still.
yeah. But I think with men, their CRB checks more like who she slept with, how many people has she slept with, where has she been around, and so on and so forth. I think that's the main difference between the two, and that's why some females might argue like, oh well, you shouldn't do a CRB check because so on and so forth. I tell people all the time like, some questions you can just ask me to my face
Yeah, blatantly.
and just say like, what is this? Do you know anyone that I know? Have you been with anyone that I know? Have you slept with anyone that I know?
Can a man
And
ask you how many people you've slept with?
If you want, yeah, but I feel like
Yeah, go on.
if you're going to ask that question,
Yeah.
if I ask it back to you, you can't be moving like, that's a bit mad. It's like, why do you want to know that? You ask me.
But okay,
so
let's
I
say
can
he's
ask
happy to
you.
answer the question. Are you happy to answer the question? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. 'Cause
I feel like if you're happy to answer the question,
Yeah.
they should be happy to answer the question if they're asking you the question. And they
yeah, I
expect
agree
you
with
to
that
answer.
all the way.
Okay,
100%.
is there a number
What
that a
I
man can give
don't-
you that's too much?
Huh?
Is there a number that the man? What number would the man say and you'd be like,
Sticky one
yeah,
still.
this can't go forward anymore. No, not serious, anyways.
Do you know what? I don't really think there is one.
112.
No, that's a bit mad still.
What if he says
Do you know
I've
what?
slept
I
with
think-
28 people and he's
28.
only 28?
There's 28 people. He's only 28, and 18 of them were in Birmingham.
No, it's just 28 people.
What's Birmingham got to do with anything?
It's not in London, is it?
No, so 28 people.
No,
28
that.
at the age of 28.
I don't know.
Is that look?
Not really, but you
It doesn't sound like, no, it doesn't seem like. The thing
It
is,
depends.
though,
If you say something
when,
like I had sex
when
when I was
you
21.
when you look at like sexual experience and so on and so forth, how many people you've been with, whatever, my concern would be, okay, have you been clinic? Like, have you checked yourself? Are you clean? And so on and so forth. Do you practice safe sex? Are you using protection? So on and so forth. My concern wouldn't really be like, okay, well, that's a big number. I'd be like, okay, have you caught disease? Like, that would be my concern. People who are fixated on the number.
Man
I
didn't
think
catch a
they-
disease, yeah, but the chick, yeah, said that she might have had syphilis one time in it, but you know, like that.
I
just
think-
dodged
Yeah,
it.
no.
I think girls
Girls have an
Isn't
issue,
it?
yeah.
they have an issue with, they will look more, have you got any kids? Girls ones are, have you got any kids?
It's a sticky one.
Yeah,
still.
and if you ain't got no kids, then you're already a plus. If you're a certain age and you ain't got no kids, you're a plus.
Do you know what it is though? Why not?
Why not what?
Why can't that be a plus?
No, I'm not spewing it. I think it's a plus.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to date a woman with kids. So, so that's already a plus.
No, but I would say.
Oh, so what? You got kids? So you're spoke milk? Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'm not. The reason why I want to date a woman with kids is because I do not want to be involved with no next man in my relationship. And as far as I'm concerned, there is a next person in a relationship. I don't care what you tell me. Oh, we're gone. He's gone. Or he's the next man.
Oh,
And I respect
he's
fathers.
Dead,
Yeah.
He's dead.
If he's dead, then it might differ if he's dead.
Would you do it then?
And what if
Is
he's
there-
waste? And what if he's waste and he's not there?
No,
No,
if he's wasting, he's not
passer.
there. He can still come back to life. And,
Passer.
and I'm dealing with this man's waste now. Because he was waste, I'm dealing with the waste.
So
that
the
he's
child
left
is
behind.
waste?
No, I'm talking about.
No, he's talking about the emotion, the heartache.
No, I'm talking about what he's left behind. The woman I'm talking about. I'm gonna be judged against waste. But if he's dead, I'll be much more likely to date somebody. That's,
Much more, or would you put?
I might do it. Oh yes, I might. That might be a yes.
Okay.
But if the dad's there, I don't want to get. We've already had discussions,
Yeah, we've had
and
discussions.
scenarios where this could happen, and
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect the father and all that type of stuff. So there's plenty of women in the world. I don't need to date a woman with kids. I don't have to. But, so I don't think there's nothing wrong with doing that as a plus.
As a father.
Man CRB checks is random. I think it would be like this. We'll flag up a picture. Anybody know this girl? Nah, I don't know. Do you know this girl's name? Nah, I don't know her. That's it. And after you start with that, then you can start doing your other checks. But we just want to know whether or not the man then know her.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to a club, the one thing that's the most, the most scary thing for any man is, let's say that me and you started dating, and I brought you into a club, and every man seems to know you. And then when they say to me, you're here with Kourtney. Oh, see. Oh, man, Kourtney's cool, man. As soon as you hear that, you're like, what's wrong with the girl? Like, which one are you? The first thing I said is, which one of you, man, has touched this girl? Nah, it's not like it's me, yeah, but so and this person and that person and that person. And then it seems like everyone in the crew, and you'll be like, all right.
So, and the thing is, it's not because of the fact that you've been with other people. It's just proximity.
Yeah, it's a proximity thing.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say, because I don't think it should be, because you slept with like these people, whatever. It's an issue. I maintain, and people always try and come with me like, like you're just saying it so no one can get onto you. No, I actually don't care, brother. Like, if you want to sleep with 100 people, sleep with 100 people, male or female, do up your thing.
But
right? As long as you're practicing safe sex and you're not giving no one disease in that process, do whatever you want to do. It's not my business. It's not your business. Not his business. Not his business.
I think that's the mindset of women, isn't it?
It's your.
What
do you mean?
No. That's the mindset, in my opinion, of quite a few women I know.
What, they're happy to you accept with their brethren?
No, not their brethren. But I'm just saying, in terms of the number, women are they're more about safe sex, whereas the guys, their mindset is more, how many have you slept with? You get me? And if the number is high, they're hearing the number, they're put off straight away.
Yeah,
I don't really care so much about the number, because I don't expect the number to be high, and I don't ask the number. Yeah. But I do ask, have you slept with somebody that I know? Because what I do want to do is be having in an open space, and two of you got a secret that I don't know about.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah,
that's keeping things.
That's my thing I don't like.
Yeah,
but if I don't ask the number, I'm not one of these guys that ask the numbers. But CRB check has to be done though. I still need to know if you're a waste. I need to know that. I need to know if you're a waste.
I do CRB checks. I can't really talk. We've digressed so much.
Yeah,
for real.
Go to one of the topics, man.
What are you going to go into, man?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your organ thing, about the kids' organ stuff?
Oh, this was interesting.
Why not? Let me.
You intro the thing, bruv, because.
All right. I'm gonna. Let me read part of the article. Actually, it's just the first paragraph. It's organ donors law. There's an organ donors law which has been changed, and I think they're calling it Max and Kira's law. So I'll just quickly read the first sentence. Yeah, plans to change the rules on organ donation consent in England have cleared the final hurdle in Parliament. The legislation will be known as Max and Kira's law, after a boy who received a heart transplant and a girl who donated it. So my question is, what's the
context of the law is that you're automatically put on the organ donors list.
That's why you're a host.
Yeah. That's the consequence of the law.
So
you have to actively opt out.
Yeah,
was you not complaining about stuff doing this last week?
Doing what?
Adding the information that's permanent to the.
He asked me a question. I got upset because I'm like, you don't need to ask. I'm a professional host.
It says under the new system, which comes into effect next year, consent will be presumed unless people have opted out.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very touching story. There's a BBC website that we posted up on our WhatsApp group, and there was a little video, and it's quite touching to me. So I wanted to ask the guys, the people, the listeners, and everybody, those who have children, those who have family members, would you be happy for your child to give their donors in case of a fatal tragedy?
Are they dead? Yeah.
Fatal tragedy. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. Then and my child can save another child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then save the other child.
Yeah.
No long thing.
No long thing.
And how about yourself? Would you put yourself on the organ?
I should have already done that by now.
Okay.
But I haven't.
And I want to also throw a curveball. And we haven't
got that much time left, so keep going.
Why is it when I'm chatting, there's always an issue and you've been going on? My friend, be quiet there, man.
Questions. Keep going.
We ain't going to go through all the questions.
I want more questions. Keep going.
But my thing is, my conspiracy theory and the underground market and the organ. Yeah. So the thing about black organs as well, I want to throw that into the mix.
Okay, but what are you throwing in?
I'm finding the idea that black people's organs are the ones that are high in demand.
He thinks Get Out is real life.
Prior to Get Out, there was a lot of stories regarding it. So
All right.
it's got nothing to do with the film.
Okay, so I'll answer your questions. So I think that there are people that's trafficking human
organ harvesting.
Yeah, I think there is that. So that's
not bullshit.
But I don't think that the people that's on the list of people that actually are putting themselves up for organs. That's completely different. Two completely different things. So
I know, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
I don't know how they call it.
But anyway, just answer the question.
So yeah, I said I'll let my child. If my child could save another child and that child is dead, then I'll let them save the other child. Mm-hmm. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Kourtney?
I'm of the same opinion. I would, if even myself, like if when I pass, I pass in tragic circumstances and so on and so forth, and I know that my organs can go on to help someone else, then yeah, even my child. Yeah.
I got a curveball after.
Do you not think your organs potentially maybe have some sort of spiritual bond to some afterlife? Maybe your brain, because they can harvest your brain and do something with that. Do you not think maybe this is something?
So with organ donation, I think obviously when you do your paperwork and stuff, they specify exactly what your organs will be used for. Mm-hmm. And when you sign to that agreement. So if they're obviously found to use it not for the purpose that they originally intended and stated in what you signed, essentially, they're then liable to get sued, right? So if my children or like my family go and find like, hey, you used her brain cells when you weren't supposed to, they're liable, right?
Yeah,
and some people will watch that kind of stuff.
That is less than the 1% that rule the world that will watch that stuff.
My family will watch it. So
in this case,
you're going to run that check regardless. Well, obviously, people need to. That's the thing. If you're going to sign up to things like organ donation and so on and so forth, I think you should be privy to exactly what the purpose of them taking those organs is going to be. You shouldn't just sign up and go, yeah, great, someone can have my organs.
As per the story that Mr. Wolf read, it's not about opting in anymore. You're not signing up for anything.
No, it says it's going to be assumed unless you tell them otherwise.
So in this case now, you are no longer opting in for anything. But
you have the option to opt out, right?
Yes, but then now you have to actively go about saying, I don't want to be involved in it at all, or I only want to be involved in X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So there is no, there's no laws in nothing. It's now changed. We own your body after you're dead. If you want that to change, come and find us. Otherwise, that's it. So we do with your body as we see fit. But I'm going to hopefully assume, I haven't read the story and I haven't read the ins and outs. Hopefully it's just for medical and scientific uses. We hope they're not going to go into,
it's just for donations.
We're going to send this to Ireland for some voodoo thing.
No, it's just to donate to other people that need it more.
Would you do it, Steph?
You know what? At first,
for your child,
for me, for my child, I'm not sure.
Not too sure.
And because I've said before, I'm looking to do my full. I'm coming up to 40, and I'm looking to do everything, the life insurance and blah blah blah. And part of that was to put my name down on the donor list. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm cool with that. But I don't know about my daughter. I don't know.
What about you, Simple?
I have a great deal of cognitive dissonance around this subject, because on one hand I'm quite open with the idea that you're dead, it doesn't really matter, but on the other hand I also kind of feel like a completeness about a body is important for some strange reason,
because you're African.
Even if the body is lifeless, it doesn't make any sense.
Africans they want you to be dead, and they don't even like cremation.
See, again, cremation are not something I'm worried about at all. But for some strange reason, I don't know why. I can't.
I'll get you.
I can't articulate.
I'll get it.
Because in one sense, in a very real sense, if you die, you die. That's it. Like,
if he dies, he dies.
Ivan Drago.
And the idea of helping somebody else,
yes,
appeals to you.
It's appealing.
Like to most people.
That's my curveball. I'm going to come with.
But there's something about the practice that just says to me, and on the other side, it's like oh, this is your bits and pieces. I don't know.
So all the ones that have said yes,
the composition of a person.
What if you knew that these organs were going to go to your enemy?
I don't have no ops.
But you just say
ops have me. No, I'm joking.
your enemy, your sworn enemy.
I don't have a sworn enemy.
But you literally did.
Do you know what the thing is, right? I hear what you're saying about your sworn enemy. But if that person's your sworn enemy, are you a better person if you're killing them as well?
Yes.
If your organ did, you're a better person.
Or not helping them along the way to live.
I think there's a point
that
in
you
time where some things surpass pettiness, right? So if we're to look at it as like, oh yeah, shut up, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm dead now. There's nothing I can do. If this is going to help someone live 10 years, 15 years more, 20 years more, so be it. Rather give someone else a full life because you didn't have one.
No.
I actually think that this may be an issue with the black community or maybe the ethnic community, where you may find that Europeans are more happy to just say, yes, take what you need.
Yeah.
Whereas we've got this kind of like, just like what Simple Sam was saying, we've got this thing where don't touch us, and that may go back to the oppressions that we've had.
Some people would like to be buried with all this
I
stuff.
think as well, traditionally, if you
Buried
look at African burials, so Egypt is a really good example, right?
Well, the
They
mummification.
were buried with everything.
Yeah, there's
they were
some
literally embalmed, their body and whole, and they were buried with all their belongings, all
Yeah,
their
they were
possessions, and so on
mine.
and so forth. So I think it's kind of a traditional thing that's carried forward, and so on and so forth. But then what you tend to find, I'm African as well, so I'm Zimbabwean, right?
Yes.
Grand Zim. You like Zim.
Everyone always does the same thing.
I don't know if I like Zim, I still.
Why
I
not?
Chabuku.
don't know if I can trust Zimbabwe
What
still.
do you mean? You
Pro-
man need to allow it.
Yeah, I
trust you lot,
But
man.
yeah, so what we
Shout out
as
the Zims out
Christians-
there. Yeah, we love you.
Yeah.
What tribe?
We as I'm quite mixed, so it's a bit of a mad one still.
Okay, all right. No,
It's a
we
bit
keep
of a
going.
mad
any
one still.
Cocks in there.
No, there isn't. My dad can speak in Debele though.
Okay.
Actually, he can speak in Debele, Shona, Sindabs. He speaks a bit of everything.
Okay.
But he never taught us,
Bad
so
man.
we don't. But yeah, no, I think obviously, like Christians in the south of Africa, especially, they prefer to be cremated. But that's just to biblical, like,
okay.
from dust to dust. From dust you came, to dust you shall return, so on and so forth. But I think traditionally, we as Africans have been buried with all our belongings. It was like when
All
you
the
go,
things.
you go with everything. You never
All
go
the
with
I worked for
things
this.
missing out of your body. You never go, like, I've heard of people
but the
being,
Egyptians,
so like my
their stuff was taken out.
mum's
Yeah, they'll
grandmother
remove all
was
the stuff.
buried with all her jewelry. There's nothing you can do with that jewelry.
I'm coming for the jewelry.
In a few years' time, it's going to be found by someone with like a metal detector and it's
Yeah.
going to be picked out of the ground. Like,
I don't know why you lot ain't gone for it. I would have.
but if that's your wishes, like, oh, I want to be buried with all of it. It's like, okay, well, who am
That
I
was
to
your
say
wishes.
no?
I'm taking
But
the stuff.
that was the whole. It's like I want to be buried with everything that's mine. It's like, okay.
I don't know why people respect people's wishes in death, depending on what type of
Woo, that's
it.
a
Well,
statement.
it depends on how they've died.
All right.
Interesting.
All right, so let's go to the next question.
Okay, we got time for one more. Kourtney, is there something on the list that you wanted to talk about? We only got time for one more thing. Notty, I know you're sending the question. We're gonna get to it another time because it's not really time dependent. Like we can answer that question whenever. There's a couple of things.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about, man.
Leave the lady.
The relocate one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Courtney
good
is
we can talk
gonna
one.
about that. We can talk about that whenever.
We can do the well. the other stuff-
So you got a lady here, so
what I'm
that's
gonna
what I'm asking her.
some of
Ask
this-
her,
we
man.
can summarize and some of this stuff we can talk about in 2 seconds. ITV and BBC creating their own streaming platform to go.
No,
get
what do you want to
Netflix.
talk about? Don't
It's
worry about-
never gonna work. Next.
Wow.
It's not gonna work. The reason why we love Netflix is because it's American programs, right? We don't have English producers like that. What is our best? Luther. Where's our others?
Black Mirror.
They're coming.
Oh,
They're-
okay.
they're-
Black
they-
Mirror.
They can
Is that
come.
English? Is that American?
No, that's English.
It's British.
Oh, really?
It was on Channel 4
Oh,
thing
that's
before.
quite
One of
interesting.
Netflix.
Oh, I didn't know
Black
that.
Mirror's
That's quite
Black
interesting.
Mirror's mad.
So-
Anyway, it's not going to work.
Okay, for those of you who didn't hear Kourtney, ITV and the BBC. What?
Go on, say what you're saying.
ITV and the BBC have joined forces and they are going to be opening a online streaming platform. And Kourtney doesn't reckon it's going to work. Kourtney, I'm not asking you to go through the list. I'm asking if there is something you want to discuss.
I think we should do the listener question.
Let's do that question about the
I think we should. I think we should. No, I think we should do the listener question.
Okay, then fine.
Someone needs our help. The bat signal's gone out. We should help them.
That's the question you do.
Yep, okay.
You tell people to you do swear in, send in, blah blah blah,
Yeah, but-
and then when they send it in, we're gonna do your question. We're gonna do somebody else's question.
I said that we can do that whenever.
Yeah, but when we
can
might
I finish?
Have,
Can I finish?
have somebody else
I'll
of
just
the
wait.
same.
I'll just wait.
I'm gonna assume her gender here, but
You know who it is. I know
no,
who
I'm
it
talking
is.
about we've got a girl here, so it's two different avenues.
A woman
The man
or a lady.
I'm not assuming their gender.
Behold.
Behold.
A lady. Okay, so you want to do... All right, then.
Yeah, let's do the
Okay.
listener question.
Okay, so listener question. Shout out Notty. Long time listener. Friend of the podcast. She asked, who should relocate if a long distance relationship leads to marriage.
Oh, who should relocate?
Yeah.
You know, when I read it, I said, would you relocate if a long distance
we can go down that way. I'm
relationship-
going to see if I can call this woman because
Who should relocate?
You should relocate.
I said you need to flesh it out. She said, yeah,
I
I
think
will.
it depends on a few factors, doesn't it?
No,
No?
What do you
Not
mean?
really.
No.
not really.
Yes,
Who should
really.
relocate?
Sorry.
Who should relocate?
What distance are we talking? Are we talking like South
woman.
London, North London?
Nah,
Are we talking
nah,
about
it's gotta be
Birmingham,
overseas,
London?
Overseas.
Overseas?
See now,
woman.
How did you find them?
We're assuming
woman.
here. We're assuming
We
that.
are-
The woman should
Obviously.
relocate.
Yeah,
Why?
because, and this may be from a completely misogynic point of view.
Which is most. This is
It's
like
going
saying
to be.
I'm not racist, but
No, it could possibly be. It could possibly be. I want to put it out there that I'm not saying it consciously from misogyny, but it could be that. It could be construed as that. Yeah, but it's this. If
racist.
if we're in a heterosexual relationship that we're talking about here, and a man and a woman,
Yeah, go on.
that's what I'm gonna base my answer on.
Hallelujah.
Jesus, as far as I know, the tenets of marriage is that the woman marries into the man's family. Correct.
Not in all cultures.
As far as I know, that's not
Most.
Yes.
Well, not in all.
Okay.
Including West Africans as well. But keep going.
Fucking hell, I'm there putting in my
Ghanaians?
what do you call it? My disclaimers. So the woman marries into the man's family, takes the name and all the rest of it. For me, if that is the case, then you move to the family.
Okay, so let's say that the man is brassic and he lives in the sticks with no money, and you're a multi-billionaire with a mansion.
And this is it.
4 billion at the mansion, take it. Yeah?
Bring your billions to him.
No.
This is it.
No, you're moving
wait,
into
go
his
on.
realm.
Go on.
Yeah? So she now go and decide that she's moving into the rapper road, and I'm now gonna go live on the dirt road when I've got billions in the mansion.
He shouldn't be getting married. Done.
But he is getting married.
But he shouldn't.
But he is.
But
So don't try to change. Don't try to change it.
no, simple. But he's gonna be like Big Wahala as a house husband.
Yeah, nah.
Is that how you trying to do me?
Phew.
My bank account is still.
Anyway, so I let my thing be known. Yeah, I hear your curveball, and don't get me wrong, there are caveats to it. But to me, in my mind, that's the first answer that came, and that was the reason for the answer as well.
Fair enough.
What would you do then, Mr. Wolf?
I don't know. I think to me, it's not a straightforward answer. I think it will depend on a few things, man.
Agreed.
For example, if as a father,
As a
I was gonna say
You
the
get
exact same
me?
thing as well.
so I've got my kids where I am. I'm not leaving the country for you. No long thing. I don't care what's going on. So you would have to come to me. If we both have kids, then
That's the situation.
that's a situation. And personally, I wouldn't get myself in that kind of thing. But hypothetically speaking, that would be a big debate to be had. I really don't know. If both parties have children and then I
You
don't know.
lot are bringing in
I
bad caveats. I
think-
wasn't even thinking about all that shit. I was just thinking about the two people.
My thing
Two
would
single
be
folks.
whoever's got the most to lose needs to stay. Whoever's got the least to lose needs to move.
It's subjective, though, isn't it?
I'm like,
How is it subjective?
Well,
Say, for example, what you said, I'm working in a big city. My job is paying me X amount of money a year. My job won't allow me to move somewhere else and work. So my job won't allow me to kind of outsource my work and move to another country and
Marry
work
your
in another
job then.
country and so on and so forth. Right? But your job is quite flexible and they say to you, okay, cool. You can be here for 2 days of a week and you can live there for 5 days of a week. As long as we see you for those 2 days a week, you can keep your job here. Are you really still going to say, no, you still need to move, man. Run your stuff. If your job is offering you that flexibility to only have to be in your office 2 days a
are we
week.
talking international stuff here, yeah?
Yeah, I presume we're talking about overseas, right? Relationships.
So
This is why I wanted you to flesh it out.
But even city wise, but even city wise,
no, but I'm
if
saying,
someone said to me, I only need to be in Nottingham for 2 days of the week to do my job, okay, I'll fly down there on Sunday night. On Tuesday night, I'm flying back to come and be with my partner.
who's paying for that? Is the work paying for that?
No, you can pay for it yourself. It's a sacrifice. You have to understand. So for me, relationships come with sacrifice, right?
hey.
And this is just one of those things where you might have to make a slight sacrifice here and there.
You see, now Big Wahala's in the building. Big Wahala don't move with no woman still. So I ain't moving into her house.
Wow.
So if we're going to get somewhere, if we're going to move somewhere, then we're going to move somewhere fresh that we're moving in together.
Yeah, you could do halfway.
So I can
You
do
could
that,
somewhere fresh.
but I'm not moving into your house. I'm not you, man. Not doing that.
I'm not you, man. Fucking hell.
People have been taking shots at me all day, damn it.
Yeah, well.
I don't know. I don't think you necessarily have to move into the house, but I think you have to be willing to compromise.
I'm not.
Why?
But
then if you're not willing to compromise, you shouldn't be in that relationship to begin with.
I know this already.
That's what
But
it is.
I know I'm not moving into their
Come
house.
on.
But if you're asking me again, it's a bit. In fact, maybe again, if they've got children, I would maybe, and I was on that flex, and I was already accommodating to that child, which is again annoying me. Then I would move into that. I would move into that person's house because they got children. But if they've got no children, and you want me to then, take myself out from where I am to move to where you are, then I'll say that we need to move somewhere fresh. I don't want to move into your house.
That's a compromise, though.
Yeah, if you want, I'll do that.
Because you're not saying no. You're just saying it should be halfway, basically. We
Sharing
should
a
meet
bed
in the
with
middle.
someone's
It's on
a
my terms.
compromise.
That's a
basically.
compromise.
It's on my terms.
Sharing a bed with someone's a compromise.
It's on my terms.
We can get petty with it.
I think you have to compromise. I think, like I said, you have to weigh up the pros and the cons of me moving, the pros and the cons of you moving, and then you compromise and see what can work.
Even within the same city, it can be a problem.
Absolutely.
Like if someone lives in Hendon compared to somebody who lives in Croydon.
Yeah.
You get me?
Croydon's.
Purley. You know what I mean? We can go even further.
Crawley.
You
Who was
know?
it the other day that
Crawley.
was saying that they were dating somebody in Luton and it was a big deal? Luton to London. They
That's a
said
big deal.
Yeah, but Luton to Croydon is far.
It's far.
Luton
It was
to
you that said it, innit?
Luton to Tottenham is not a big deal.
No, what do you mean? Of course it is.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
Tottenham is
Luton-
North
No, like
London, isn't it?
anywhere
Luton
that's
to
like...
Croydon is easier than Luton to Tottenham because there's a train from Luton. that
Okay,
take
I'm
you
talking
Take
about
you to
driving.
Croydon,
Yeah.
I'm talking about driving then.
I don't know.
But
I
it's
saw someone who
further
lived
away,
in
innit?
East London and that was a problem for me. I was like, oof, I have to go to East London.
That's what I'm
Gosh.
saying.
We feel the same.
Place is trash.
We feel the same about Croydon.
Oh, so she's throwing smoke on postcodes and that.
I co-sign that.
like-
You said you got on a
I co-sign
tram
that.
earlier.
East, yeah, I know.
Do you know how old that is?
What do you
it's
mean?
brand new.
You know
What
that
are you talking about?
they
Trams are fantastic.
There's only
They
one
are
other place in the world that has that
fantastic
problem, in
methods.
San Francisco.
You know that-
the South London trams are brand new, man.
One at a time, man. Please.
Sorry, you know the tram lines in is the only transport in London that actually has no problem with the snow. You know, do you know why? Because you got cocaine on your snow racks all the time anyway, so it's no different.
Wow.
Yeah. Alcohol and drug dealers. That's all you got in your area.
Really?
And Krypton Conan.
Wow.
Have you been to their restaurant? Have you been to their
I
restaurant?
haven't been, no.
You're not even
No,
from Croydon.
haven't
For you
been.
ain't been to Conan's place.
Do
Are you
you
going to the
know
ends?
what? I probably will be going to the ends, but it will probably be as media and press as opposed to...
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's around the corner, mate. Around the corner. You know?
Yeah, it is round the corner. I'm going to Afro Nation, so that should be good. Doing
Okay.
Portugal.
Alright.
That'll be
She's
good.
enjoying herself. Look at that.
Courtney, you got man if you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't.
So this thing you're talking about well-being and health. Just find yourself a Nigerian man, and that will sort you out. Yeah, yeah. Don't laugh and being serious.
Why?
Because it's there. We help. We
You help what?
We women.
I've had a Nigerian boyfriend before, and he wasn't a very nice person.
Was he Igbo?
Was it Yoruba?
Was he
No,
Igbo?
he was Benin.
Oh, yeah, no, them man are different. them man are different. Them man are different. You're lucky.
Technically, they're not Nigerians.
No, you got away. You got away.
Oh, okay.
They're very Nigerian.
They're
Are
not
you
Nigerian.
Crazy, bruv.
I think they are Nigerian.
There's Nigeria and there's Benin. It's a completely different.
No, there's a Benin inside Nigeria.
Why are you?
Yes,
Why,
that
what
one.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, but you got to be
careful.
careful of them because them man are the ones that they have a
They do judging it.
no, yeah, no, not even George. It's a thing. Yeah, there's a ceremony that happens every 7 years, I think it is, when they name the new Oba.
Bruv, the history in Benin's deep.
And when they name the new Oba, somebody, a number of people have to be beheaded.
Oh, no child.
Yeah, there you go.
I
So
did get away.
You got
I
away,
did
man.
good.
And I'm not even saying that for bad.
Even
it's the real.
Ghanaians haven't really been up to scratch.
Oh.
Jamaicans haven't really been up to scratch.
So stick with your own then.
Wait, whoa.
Stick to my own
What type
Zim.
of?
You don't understand
Wait,
the
what-
way Zimbabwe works is like you might be related to the person.
But it's a big country. What are you on about?
Who told you it's a big country?
I know. I used to go over Zimbabwe, man.
I don't know.
I've nearly
if,
been there in my dreams.
I don't know if any of my family will listen to this. So I can't say what I want to say.
Don't
But,
say, don't say
uh,
it then. Don't say it.
When my family is my family, it's a very small world. It goes from being this big to being this big. So,
Okay, so you got a big
anyone
family.
could be your cousin.
Swaziland, South Africa.
Stick with Nigerians.
Them neighbours.
Let's
Not
stick
sure
with
about
Nigerians.
South African.
No, I need to ask you a question. So you said you went out with a Jamaican. Was
Uh-huh.
that a Jamaican or a British Jamaican? There's a difference.
As a British Jamaican.
Yeah, they're crap. Anyway, next one. What was the other one?
Did he wear string vest?
Ghanaian.
Ghanaian. Is he a Ghanaian or a British Ghanaian?
He's a British Ghanaian.
Oh, yeah, they're
They're better than the.
But then what do you mean? I need to go to Africa to go and collect my husband?
You need to go to the village.
She said collect. Yeah, you're a correct woman. Yes, yes. You go to
yeah.
Africa. Go to Africa and collect your woman.
And he can collect passport. Keep going.
Nah, guys. So
Like-
now I have to relocate.
No,
I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying
Just
that.
go collect them and come back.
They're happy. They're happy to come here for you. Don't worry about that.
No, wait, you say your name. Kourtney.
Do you know what? I don't
love
really.
you, Kourtney.
But this is the thing. It's a personality thing for me, you know. Like when it comes to like relationships and stuff, you ain't got banter. That's not gonna work. Because I'm a funny you. I'm a really funny you. Just in case you haven't noticed already.
Hang on, are you?
I haven't laughed at you once since you've been here.
People always do this and then they belly laugh.
Has it happened? Has it happened?
When we play this back, you're gonna see that you have. Because I'm sure when I said, all of you just collapse and
I don't even know what Buru is.
That's Cardi's thing, innit? That's Cardi's.
Cardi.
I don't know if I like Cardi B
Cardiana.
still.
Oh, let's not get into
You have
that.
your finger on
You
the
like her?
pulse.
Do I have my finger on the
No,
pulse?
you do. You're more hip than we are. I was saying this to Wahala on the way here. It's like we are aged out of the in crowd. We used to be the in crowd, and then we got older.
Yeah, but that's what happens to everyone.
Did you go to that DLT thing yesterday?
No, I didn't. But
Have you
I heard
been
it
there?
was good. No, I haven't been. But I heard it was good.
But that's the in thing now that we're not in. We're not.
Oh, was that DLT?
That's one of the things that Georgette does.
It's like a
Or shows
brunch,
that
isn't
with-
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the guy that died the other day?
Cadet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
Blaine.
had a tribute thing for him.
Oh, that's good.
They did, yeah.
at
His
Brixton.
concert
So as
was
I was going
amazing.
through Brixton, funny enough, as I was going through after work, I saw a whole crowd
Yeah.
of all sorts of people.
Yeah, he's amazing. His
Yeah.
music touched a lot of people. It's a friend
Large
of
up cadet,
ours,
man.
so he's a good guy. Very
R.I.P.
clean-hearted guy.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
All right.
tragic. It's a tragic loss. But yeah, his tribute concert was amazing. So many people came out. It was really well organised. So that was great. But yeah, it's
Was
not.
you
I
there?
think no, I didn't go. I was at home. I stayed at home for that one. Yeah.
Word up.
But yeah, I don't think it's an age thing. I think you can go wherever you want to go. You're only as old as you feel, guys.
No, I'm talking about like our audience might not necessarily. I think the people that listen to podcasts are in their late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, so I'm
kind of
like
age.
baby talk for them.
So no, but I mean we have aged out of the audience kind of thing. If you get what I mean. So maybe, but anyways,
I think I'm
not
kind
allowed
of
to talk about
fortunate
stuff
because
like
my
this.
sister and my brother-in-law, like they're older than me. So my sister is 31. My brother-in-law is like 36. But we have conversations where like he'll talk to me about, so he'll say like, you know, when I was growing up, like this is how it was and so on and so forth. And then I'll say, oh, you know, like nowadays, like this is like this and so on and so forth. So we kind of exchange experiences. So I think I'm quite privy to experiences that maybe the generation before me have had. And as a result, like my brother and my sister and my brother-in-law, they're quite privy to experiences that I have as like my generation because we have those conversations. But I think if you're not having those conversations, you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah, so you're straddling the timelines. is what
Yeah,
you're
so
saying.
it's sometimes like they tell me stuff and I'm like, really? Like that used to happen, or like this used to go on, or like this was like this, and they're like, yeah. And then sometimes like I'll say this and they're like, people are still doing that. Like, you know, we used to do that back when we were young and so on and so forth. So I think it just depends.
Are you under 30?
I am. I'm 27.
Jeez.
Oh my God, youth.
Well, it's good. It's
Wow.
good. Have you been back to the Zim?
Because I feel old. Yes, I have. We went back every year. So
Oh, that's
my
lovely.
dad was
That's lovely.
he encouraged it a lot. So we went back every year
That's good,
until I
man.
was like 11.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so that
beautiful.
was like summer holidays. That was like our thing.
So you're,
That's not
and you're
holiday.
Summer
Are
in
you
Zimbabwe.
are you pro Uncle
Pro uncle?
Mugabe?
Whose uncle is that? It's not mine.
Mugabe's
So are
everyone's
you
uncle.
pro?
Maybe someone else's uncle.
So you're not for
No.
Mugabe at all?
No.
Are you for the current leader?
No, because he's
He's a
basically the puppet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Mugabe's still not dead, you know.
That's because he's been flying to China to go and get organs. Next.
Okay.
See,
Need I
this
say more?
This thing gonna go through.
Why would you get Chinese organs?
No. It's not
Yo.
about Chinese.
I know.
Who's this?
Yo,
Hi,
can you hear us?
I can.
Yeah.
Who's trying to do English accent? Who's this?
This is nuts.
Not, why are you pretending this is how you speak normally?
Don't be rude. There's a phone voice, you know.
Nah, she's trying it.
I love a phone voice.
No, can you hear everybody?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We were discussing your question that you sent in, and because we didn't have the context that you were meant to send from long time,
Lord.
yeah, people ask me questions I can't answer. So we're wrapping up. We have actually answered your question, but I just want you to just give us a bit of context before we go. And thanks for being a good listener as well and sending questions and whatnot.
Oh, okay. So the question is just, I suppose I should give a scenario. In a
Yes,
way.
please.
If you meet, so people kind of meet, you could say online. This is one scenario, online, nowadays. So you meet someone online, you get along, you're communicating, and then the person come to visit you, and you go to visit them, vice versa, because you live in different countries.
Okay, international.
And then you get to a point where, okay, so you're in a relationship, now, but you just kind of go to each other's countries, per se. But then you now get to a point where you fully want to commit, and you want to be together permanently in the same country. So my question was like, then who kind of moves? Because if it's countries, so it could be, for example, if someone is in the UK and someone is in, let's say, Zimbabwe or South Africa, for example.
Hey.
So it's like
our guest is from Zimbabwe, by the way.
I am.
Sorry?
So your kin. Our guest is from Zimbabwe.
It's my people's.
Our guest.
The guest that we have on this week is from Zim.
Oh!
Yeah, you see, you perk up now, innit?
Okay, cool.
Okay. But all right, so we get that. But what are you talking about? Should the man leave or should the woman leave? Like, what do you mean who? Why? What difference does it make?
No. So it's not even but that's the question. So it's not necessarily to do with the gender. It's also to do with what kind of spaces or things would actually come into play, like for you to actually move. Would you?
Okay.
Because,
that paycheck's going to come
yeah,
into play.
You take what things should we take into account and why? Okay. All right.
What things would you take into account? Would it be like, so if I'm thinking about, okay, so if I have to move to Zimbabwe, like what kind of, is it going to be like
I know, because
what kind of jobs do they have, or like,
can you even get bread and fuel? I understand.
You're being so rude right now.
That's true, though.
He's being so rude.
I mean, the main factor was
come into play, because obviously it's not just, I'm loving this person.
That's
you're now shifting your whole life to a completely different country.
Do you know what's nuts? Right. That I've literally just thought about now that you said that.
Because I've kind of been having this argument with my friend Namaku, who's here with me as well, so she could actually tap in to the conversation.
Friend.
All right.
Hi. Sorry, guys.
Who is this friend?
Because we've been having this argument. So my thing is, in the UK, you're a second-class citizen in the first world. But in Zimma, South Africa, yes, generalization, yeah, we get it. It is what it is. But in Zimbabwe or South Africa, you could be a first-class citizen, but in the third world. So there's so many other things that come into play, as opposed to it just being jobs or opportunities. It's like, what kind of a life do you want to live? So who would make that call? Because second class or first class?
I get that.
But
I wish that was said in the first place. But go on.
Yeah, I get it. But I think as well, the same thing that you have to think of in that instance is, whilst you might be a first class citizen in another country, how long are you going to stay a first class citizen in that country? Okay. There's only so much. So for example, the reason why you would be a first class citizen in that country is if you move from here to there is because the pound is stronger than whatever currency they've got running there at the moment, right? How long is your pound money going to last you?
Much stronger than in Zimbabwe.
Right. Well, actually, at the moment we use American dollars, so just relax, okay? So it's not much. It's
I can't hear properly, you know?
Yeah,
so I think you would have to. I think the other thing that you'd have to consider as well is, whilst you're a first class citizen out there, is what is your quality of life going to be like as a first class citizen? You're still going to have to queue for medication like everyone else. You're still going to have to pay excessive amounts for medication like anyone else. You're still going to struggle to get fuel like everyone else. Yeah, it might be a bit easier for you because you have more money, but you're still going to struggle like how everyone else is going to struggle to an extent. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, whilst I understand the notion, I don't think some countries are fortunate.
Like so much more influences that you may or may not have as much control over. Whereas with first class, you know, you're going to send your kids to private school, and you kind of can predetermine what kind of outcomes they will have. So there's also that comes into play. So it is a lifestyle question. It really is a lifestyle question about what are you willing to sacrifice and who makes that sacrifice.
And would it actually affect the dynamic? Because remember, if you are kind of going to see someone in a different country, when you're going to visit, it's completely different. If you're spending 2 weeks somewhere, it's just a completely different vibe and way of life than if you're actually going to live there.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you'd need to come here and change diapers. We're not going to have a maid. We're not going to have a cook. We're not going to have a cook. We're not going to have a nanny. We're not going to have a gardener.
But is that important to you? Is it that deep to have those things?
If I was in Zoom, yeah.
So I don't know, as a fellow Zim, if you, because there was a video that actually went viral within the Zim community of a man that had come to the UK off the back of his wife, and his wife was here with the kids. But obviously she's been working a lot, and he did this video where he's kind of saying, oh, look, she can't even finish cooking. You know, all these
useless woman.
The things that you would get as a man, quote unquote, in Zim, because you have help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Whereas now he's here and he's having to just adjust. Which,
cater for himself, basically.
But the way he just went about it, like exposing and recording this tape and saying, oh, the kids haven't even eaten, and whereas I was looking at it thinking, hold on, but you can feed the kids, you can cook the food because she's obviously at work.
Yeah.
So these are kind of like these massive life adjustments that you have to make.
Yeah. They are, but I think to get up and move without considering adjustments and factors and so on and so forth would be moving blindly. You're not doing you're not doing your Googles. You're not Googling what your life would be like. You're not like seeing what your sacrifices would have to be and so on and so forth. So I think if you were going to move, whoever it was going to be, it would have to be a super informed decision. It couldn't just be like, okay, well, he said I should move. Let me move. No.
I know somebody that did that though.
Yeah, that's mad still.
I know somebody that moved from England to, not what you were saying, but just moved from England to Nigeria actually. Okay. But the person's rich. So it's a completely different category.
That's the thing. I think money is probably the biggest factor in all of this. It's probably the thing that most people would consider first. It would be like, oh, okay, let's think about money.
Yeah, I think money is a big factor.
It's the major and it's the only factor as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The way I conduct myself here, being a woman, in Germany, you're a second-class citizen. In a way, you know?
As a woman,
you're
in
outspoken
Zimbabwe.
and there's ways that you do things here. It's going to completely change. And that would obviously definitely affect the dynamic of your relationship.
That's true.
All right. Nuts. Yeah, we're going now.
All right, man.
Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you.
This is part 2 of our answer, so you're going to have to listen in to hear the other part. Thank you to your friend. What's your friend's name? Or if they want to give it out?
It's Nomakuku.
Nomakuku. Did we go to, what do you call it? Southport with your friend there? Yeah.
Because
Shout out. I kind of vaguely remember you. Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. We partied.
Shout out.
We partied hard. All right, and thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Can you play some gum as the outro?
Yes. All right, you know what?
some gum.
I will do that. I will do that just for you. I'll do that just for you. You won't hear it because our music will come up. But yeah. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna squeeze ya. Anzo kunula. Shaku shaku. Jengo chuchu. Siapilisa. Sochuluka. Kotwa. Naile walk. Outfit wotwalo. Naile walk. Outfit wotwalo.
That's a bit of a sticky one, isn't it?
When they're talking first and second class citizens, are they talking about women only being first and second class? Because they're saying in Zimbabwe, the women are second class citizens, but here they're first class citizens.
I think
because I kind of had it the other way around, as when you go back home, you're more of a king back home than you would be considered here.
You said king, not queen.
Queen.
Well, you know what I mean, just royalty.
No.
I think
Okay,
both,
well, what I mean, what I mean, as
and
black people in this country, this is what I meant. As black people in this country, we're considered second-class citizens, whereas back home, we're considered almost equal, depending on
by who.
the
I don't
amount
know
of
about
money
in South
that you
Africa
have.
though.
I don't know if women are considered equal.
Well, that's the question that I was asking, isn't it?
I think
If you look at tradition, women aren't considered equal in traditional African marriages.
And in the UK.
They're not considered
So that's what I'm
equal.
saying, in
So I
both
think that's
countries.
what she meant when she was saying that if you go and marry someone back home who is obviously has traditional views, you're still going to be a second-class citizen. If you're a woman, you're the woman in the relationship.
So
right?
she's only speaking from a woman's perspective, not just from a
I
man.
don't know. I can't speak for her, but that's how I interpreted what she was saying.
And that's what I was trying to kind of figure out, because as a man,
You didn't care. That's why.
No, am I more of a first-class citizen here than I am back home?
But you didn't care about your woman.
We're talking from a man's perspective, innit?
Because you don't care
You're
about
not
the women.
talking about a woman's
Because
perspective.
you didn't care about the women.
Come on, get out, man.
All right. Okay. We done?
Yes.
I just got one piece of advice I need to give to the listeners out there. Yeah. I need you to listen to this very well.
Oh shit.
That's right. You so-called Christian-looking whores. That's it. Jumping in some church, flapping your ankle chains around, all on the choir, breasts hanging out, lips all red, nails painted red, purple, blue, green, long like bird claws, all this fake hair, breast implants, toenails painted with little fake diamonds in it. Your toes ain't richer. You're nothing but a prostitute.
Bless, he's sexually fascinated. Good child.
Go to church now. Go to church. Got nothing but a singing hoe, a shouting hoe, a organ playing hoe, a choir director hoe. Hey, preacher. If what I just said describe your wife, you're married to a hoe.
Wow.
At some point, we need to actually dissect that, though.
No. Why?
Because at some point, we have to decide. Is it okay to wear what you want in church and be cool with that?
Okay, well, that's going to be another question for another day.
Yeah.
If your wife...
Next week's question.
If your wife reminds you of that...
You lot are going to have to call me when you do that question. Still.
Yeah.
Come
You're
back,
gonna have
man.
to-
So, Kourtney, you're going to come back.
Come as you are.
I'm
That's
in
what they say.
Stockholm next week, so you guys are going to have to... We'll find a way. We'll find
come
a
as
way.
you are.
Not necessarily
Maybe I'll
next
voice
week,
note.
but yeah.
Yeah, when I come back, we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
run that
come
one.
back, come back. All right, okay. So we've
Or you
run,
can call in.
we've run long as usual. Not on your phone, clearly. All right. Let's do our church notes. Mine don't work either, so the shade is there for everyone. What?
Next week, I want to discuss what we do if somebody abuses your missus online.
So why can't we say that next week?
Because I need to remember it this week so you can remember it for next week.
Okay.
I can't believe you're asking that. Everyone has to die next.
No.
She dies. But keep going.
That's the upload. What do you mean? That's Opiana. You're abusing my partner online. You're Opiana. Might have to pull up on you still.
It's that South. That South flavor's coming out.
Yes, sir.
Church notes and goodbyes. We'll leave our guests to last. We'll start off with Big Wahala.
At Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter. Shout out One Stop Dreadlock Shop, the home of the ESN podcast. Well, we could call that now because we've been there for I don't know how long. Doing it for almost a year now, innit? Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. So shout out One Stop Dreadlock Shop. In what's this name of this road? Hornsey Road. Yeah. For your locked needs.
Simple Simon.
At Simple Simon FB on Twitter. I don't have Instagrams. I got a book recommendation. I just finished another one. You know, I have. I've
this pretending you can read needs to stop.
No, I didn't read when we were in Cuba. I left it out, came back, finished off a book. So I finished Color Nations, started another book which is called The Grunch of Giants. I forget the author's name. That is a must read for anybody who's into economics, economy, and finding out the etymology of some of the economical terms like real estate and stuff like that, and also finding out the behind the curtain truth about the psychology of capitalism
by R. Buckminster Fuller.
That's the one. My G.
What a name. Buckminster Fuller.
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Instagram, aka Mr. Wolf. Twitter, aka _Mr. Wolf. There is an event taking place all the way in April the 13th in the Hackney Central Library. It's called African, Caribbean, British Roots.
Plug.
Who do you think you are?
Gaza.
So it's quite an interesting topic and debate, and if you're kind of wondering where you're from, why not go there? Hackney Central Library.
I love the fact that your case is on upside down.
Yeah, because he was using my phone, innit? No big deal.
Go on.
I am Stavros Boss. You can catch me at Stavros Boss everywhere. I would like to shout out the missus. It is her birthday has just passed as you're listening to this.
Yeah,
so, happy birthday, wife. My rock, my confidant, my other half, my not my better half, just my other half.
She's a better looking. Go on.
She better be.
His daughter started to look like her now.
You think so?
Hallelujah.
Yeah, she started to look like her now.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Glory to God.
Because once you change her hair, she looks completely different. So I just want to say happy birthday. Sorry we didn't go away this year because I was saying on socials. Last year was in Instagram because usually we're away for our birthday. Instagram.
But anyway, keep going.
I've got something on the brain. And the year before was in Miami and many other countries as well, actually. But we started off in Miami, and now we were in we went to where is it? We went to
Bognor Regis.
Waterstones.
Oh,
Sorry, not
okay.
Waterstones. What's the pub that starts with the W? The chain.
Weatherspoon.
I was in Weatherspoons yesterday, right? And you look and your Google pictures is saying, "Look where you were last year. Look where you were the year before." And it's like right.
I might have that same issue this year myself, boy.
And my daughter's becoming a snob with food because my wife is snobby with food, but my daughter eats anything. But now we ordered pizza for her. She's like, "Nah, this is not for me. This is what's starting to get me worried." Yeah, because. Minute my missus said, "Oh, she didn't finish her food." I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And then she said, "No, she seems fine." That night she had a fever. I said, "There's no way this girl can't finish her food."
Nah,
Loss of appetite.
could be changing though, because my daughter said to me today, "I don't like vegetables." I'm like, "Why? I don't want to eat vegetables, Daddy.
They
I just
never
want to
wanna
eat.
eat vegetables.
I just want to eat chicken and fish, Daddy. That's all I want to eat."
My daughter had that thing like quick. Your one took a few years to get to that point.
Yeah.
My one started that she ate it in the beginning and nice. It's yucky, Daddy. It's yucky
Because you don't eat it.
Yeah, but
Lead by
doesn't
example,
matter.
innit?
Yes, they copy what their parents do, man. It's true.
They see you partitioning the vegetable away.
Yeah, and I eat vegetables. My daughter said to me today, "Daddy, I don't want vegetables anymore. Why do you keep giving me?"
Yeah, but at school they probably tell them vegetables yucky. They do that and Peppa Pig and all them foolishness.
I don't know where that comes
Big got to do with the price of bread, bro.
Because they'll be telling that it's wrong.
Stavros Says this week is the film Sleepers. I want you to watch it. It's not the biggest film in the world. I was talking to Mr. Wolf about this in Cuba. Yeah, who did I say it's got in it? It's got Brad Pitt.
That's it.
It's an old film, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about 20 years old. It's got Brad Pitt. It's got who's the old one, the gangster from Goodfellas?
Robert De Niro.
It's got Robert De Niro. It's got the other dude from Rain Man, the old man, whatever his name is. I can't remember his name as well. But it's got some big actors in it. But have you heard of the film, Kourtney? Sleepers.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's not.
Then I can't watch it, I'm afraid.
So you're just the queen of Netflix, then, isn't it? But unfortunately, you're gonna have to go and find.
Came
this
out in
film.
1996 still.
96. So what was that? 23 years ago.
I was 5.
You was 5, yeah. At least you were born.
But it is a good film.
There's some old school films that are good out there.
Yeah. If you have listened to Streets is Watching by
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon's in it as well.
Dustin Hoffman.
That's the dude.
That's
Dustin
it.
Hoffman. If you listen to
Jason
Streets
Patrick.
all right. If you listen to Streets is Watching by Jay-Z, the song, there's samples from that film that are in that song, and it's some old Italian kind of reformed gangster dude that is giving advice to some children, and this is one of my life lesson things. This is a film I'm going to give to my daughter. I would say there are lessons in this film that there are stones and gems you need to find out. So that old gangster, he's not a major part of the film at all. He's a minor part, but he pops up and he gives lessons to these kids. And I want you to watch the film and listen to those lessons.
You boys are soft like bread. It's going to catch up to you. And when it does, it's going to hurt bad. You gotta stay tough to be tough. Guys smells it when you're weak, eat you like a salad. You see that street? That street is the dish of life. And you boys are appetizers. Somebody gonna come along, eat you up, and forget about you by dessert.
Take it easy, fat man. It's just a stickball game.
Yes, but going soft is a habit. You know? You have to keep yourself mean and cut your life around it. Look, this is just free advice from me to you. You take it or you throw it away. It don't matter. Thanks a lot, fat man.
He's a legend. He's a legend in the film. So anyway, the film is called Sleepers. Released 1993, you said?
97.
90, whatever, anyway. So anyway, go watch it. So
I might have to go and watch that, actually.
Watch it.
There's no such thing as too much wisdom.
Yes. Yeah, watch that film and White Man Can't Jump. I think they should make a sequel for White Man Can't Jump too.
No.
Sometimes it's better just left
Leave
with
that
one.
shit be. Just leave that shit be, master. Leave it be,
I'm gonna
master.
go to the car and get my other gun.
Yeah.
All right.
Kill all of y'all.
Kourtney.
My finals. Okay, so if you want to find me on Instagram, it's @_Kourtney L. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's @_Kourtney LL. Don't come in my mentions looking for beef. I will give you smoke.
None of our listeners want
It's
beef.
just a warning because some people might act like they don't, but then they do. They want to come to
On the
speak
sly
something.
and in the DMs.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. They would not slide in the DMs. They wouldn't actually beef me, like warn me on the timeline.
Yeah, I'm coming for you.
Okay,
Still.
right. So it's beef, basically. It's been declared for everyone who's listening.
I'm vegetarian.
I
There's
don't
no
want
beef.
smoke with no one. To be honest with you, I said I don't have no ops. I'm trying to think of what I can
I don't want smoke with no one.
I don't want smoke with no one. Do you know what? If you enjoy good music, banter, and interesting interviews with people from different industries, lock into my radio show on Ontop FM. So I'm on Ontop FM. It's 95.5 FM. I'm on every Saturday morning, 7 to 10 a.m. Currently moving studios, as I was explaining to you earlier. So we're going to be next back on air on the 16th of March, and I'm going to be interviewing Toby Shyboy, who just produced the track that Mo Stax' Daily Duppy got like over 1 million views in a couple of days for. So we're going to talk to Toby about the industry. We're going to see what he's saying. So yeah, if you're interested in music or just general banter, and we do a thing called Workplace Dilemmas, I should get you guys on there for that actually. That'd be interesting.
Yes.
Where we talk about workplace dilemmas
I'm
and we
involved.
get people's opinion and stuff.
What about people that don't have jobs?
But yeah, but
come on,
you
man.
wouldn't come on.
Come on, man. I had a job for so many
You've
years.
been in the workplace.
I was 14 years old.
Y'all are so mean.
Sorry, go on.
Y'all are so mean. So yeah, like the last one I did was, if you had a cup at work and you came into work and your cup was used, but it wasn't you that used it, would you throw it in the bin or
I would publicly
wash it?
smash
I
it.
have an issue with people using my cutlery.
I do too.
Do not use my
I don't even have
spoons,
that
my
issue.
cup. Don't use nothing.
Ouch.
And then they won't even wash it and put it back.
Yeah,
disrespect.
It's in the sink.
That's the kind of stuff we talk
I'd
about. I
wash
get
it though,
people's
and use
opinions
it
and
again.
stuff.
I mean,
You'd wash it and use it again. Everybody's lost their mind.
What is it? Is
you know that-
it gonna be dead? I'll wash it. What do you want me to
Okay,
do?
let me
I'll
ask
put
you.
a detergent to wash the thing in it.
What if they got
So
the AIDS?
earlier on this week on Twitter,
Sorry.
Or TB.
I can't just say what if they've got AIDS.
No.
That's what he used to say about.
I said
the AIDS. Yeah, that he said EastEnders about Mark Fowler, innit? He's got the AIDS.
well,
You guys-
earlier on this week on Twitter,
Yeah.
someone said they brushed their teeth with tissue paper. So exactly. So you're just gonna take the cup and
I'll
wash
still
it
wash
and
the
use
cup,
it.
man.
Nope, it's
It
going in the
depends
bin.
on what cup it is.
It's going in the bin.
Hey, my missus
It's
bought
going
me
in
a
the
cup
bin.
one time. It's got my face on it. I'm washing it.
I'm not.
I've got my face for my whole life. I can go and put my face on another cup. It's going
like
in the
a
bin.
very special one.
I'm not. I'm not gonna throw it in the bin. I'm going to publicly smash it so that everybody
See?
in the office can see.
E is for energy.
Yeah.
When they fire you. When they fire you for damage in the office.
No, it's mine.
I phone
Yeah,
it
but
sharp.
if you smash something and suddenly that bit of glass hits the white person, that's you finished.
All right, okay.
Anyway, guys, if
On
that's
Top
what you want to
FM,
listen to, it's
Saturday
on Top
morning,
FM, Saturday
7
morning, 7 to 10,
You hear those kind of
95.5
dilemmas there.
FM. And yeah, I'm going to get the guys on to talk about some workplace dilemmas.
Yeah.
And we'll play a few games as well. We'll play Who Do You Love? And we'll play...
Wife, again, she's not looking at me as she's talking about playing games and who do you love?
yeah, it's a fun game.
I'm involved.
It's about your
Yeah,
favourite
for
music.
sure.
These lot are going to be in there. So yeah, make sure you lock in. But you know where to find me if you want to come and be nice. No beef.
All right.
Lovely.
Thank you very much for guest hosting.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you've been a wonderful guest. Gents, lovely as usual. All right, episode 114 of season 2 of Eloquently Saying Nothing.
Teenager.
Done. Thank you for listening.
Gaza.
Lovely. And if you ain't saying nothing, say it well.
Yo.
Slag for life.
And a big shout out
about music
actually to Jada Smith. If there's any truth in him providing clean water to Flint, Michigan, then large up to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Music, man. Should have played this block.
I'm going to insert it.
I'm gonna play it afterwards, man.
I'm going to put it in the middle.
Play that little boy sing, man.
That's not.
I don't care. I like that little boy. You see the little boy playing with have you not seen it? No. The little boy playing with the disc.
The disc thing.
The bottles, man.
Right.
Cool, you're a legend, man.
It's 10 o'clock in the night.
What?
You're a legend.
I'm a legend. Why?
You look and never say this to me ever again.
You are good. You are good, bro. Definitely. Yeah. I enjoyed.
I tried.
The reason why you don't like talking to me.